Black Alpha Network. Home of Black excellence. Power to the people.
Peace and love, family. Peace and love. Peace and love. Certified salute. Who run it? We do. Foundational Black Americans. Much love and respect. Y'all, hope everybody's enjoying their day. Hope everybody's safe and sound with all this craziness going on in the world. But we gonna break it down, y'all. We gonna break it down from the East Coast to the West Coast and everything in between the Midwest and down South. We gonna break it down. It's been a hell of a year, y'all. 2024 is one for the ages, and Foundational Black American Freedmen, we are on the front line as always. The same way it was when we built this country, it's the same way it is right now. But what we're going to do today, family, we're going to put all the ops on the table, and we're going to go ahead and regulate. And then we're going to put some receipts on top of all of that. So I hope everybody brings their own receipts. Anybody who wants to come up, come on up. But we're going to make sure we get some clarity. There's going to be a straightening up in here, and we're going to get some understanding. And what's the main thing to understand, y'all, is that we are here. And we stronger than ever. And it doesn't matter who they put in front of us. We're going to continue to win, and we're going to continue to rise because Foundational Black American Freedmen are undefeated. Checkmate, checkmate, checkmate. Understand that. Right now, this election season is going. All right. I told everybody it was going to be a Black American summer. Right. But damn, you talk about the summer, you talk about the spring, you talk about the fall. We are about a month and 2 or 3 days away from the election of 2024. And we all see that the way it's playing out right now, they done pulled out every single tether, every single Democratic shield. They getting folks off TikTok, dragging them off the streets. And the one thing they all have in common is that they all got smoke for FBA. And that's good because we got smoke in return, and ours goes further. Trust me when I tell you that. I know y'all been seeing Kamala the Collie Green. She's a tether. OK, I know y'all been seeing Holland Martin. He's a tether. Joyless Reed, a tether. And when you see a tether, you're going to see a Democrat. When you see a Democrat, you're going to see a tether. And who are the main people on the front line coming at FBA with that smoke? Is them. You cannot separate those two individuals. You cannot separate them at all. You have this process going on right now in the United States where they're trying to get us out the paint, and they're mad because we're not moving. And actually, we winning right now. Kamala Harris is running around talking about 20 acres in a mule. She don't want to have to answer that goddamn question, but we putting it on the table. Kamala Harris is running around here talking about the 1/8 rule. What the hell is that? All right, we all know it's the 1 drop rule. She can't even get that straight. The cause plan is completely destroyed, but she doesn't want to answer those questions. We're making her. Kamala Harris is running around here with about 4, 5, 6 fake grandmothers. All right, and the receipts are being put on the table on the day to day. And she doesn't want to have to answer those questions. If you notice, y'all, Kamala's starting to get very, very nervous, and she's starting to get very, very afraid because they thought things was cool about 3 months ago when they was running around here talking about win with women, win with tethers, win with humpbacks, win with men, all of that stuff that they were talking. You see the honeymoon is over now. And she's starting to look like she done aged about 6 years and 3 months. She's very, very nervous because they thought they was going to Barack Obama 2.0 us. And it didn't turn out that way. They thought that they were just going to say, I'm black. Black folks don't say nothing. Shut up and go vote. The days of the vote blue no matter who are done. It's official. The days of just go vote blindly, done. The days of these folks disrespecting us, insulting us, and telling us your ancestors died if you'd had a right to vote, them days are done. And I got to send the biggest certified salute to the FBA family because let's be real, y'all. We are the main factors in this election. Everything about this election is revolving around us. This is why they don't know what to do. This is why they're in shambles. This is why they're in disarray, because they're looking at a political system that's not working for them. They can't turn to us and say, black folks, come save us. They can't look and say, black folks, y'all got to save democracy this time. We're coming with demands and commands, and that's a long way away from begging. That's a long way away from just asking. FBA, we're not doing that. They're out here literally trying to sabotage our reparations. They're literally out here trying to tell us that we don't need an anti-black American hate crime law. And they're out here bringing in people left and right into this country. Who are the main ones putting that on the front line? We're the ones bringing it up. It's to the point now that you're watching presidential debates and presidential elections and conversations and engagements, and it sounds just like it's coming from the black grassroots. Let me tell you why. Because it is. Everybody's watching us. I've been telling everybody for the last 4 or 5 years that it's all eyes on FBA. They're getting all their talking points from us. And what we're not going to do, family, we're not going to allow them to kind of pass that off as conservative talk. Oh, by the way, it's been what, a week and a half? Janet Jackson still ain't apologized. Certified salute. And the reason why she stands on business is because we stand on business and she's one of us. And that's the same type of energy that we're bringing to this election. We're not folding in front of none of these people. We're not backing down from nobody. We're making sure that all of the demands that we put on the table are going to get met. And if not, the Democratic plantation, association, society, they're going to all have to pay, and they're going to have to pay all the way up. If they believe that we're just going to fall back in this election and do what black folks been doing for the last 60 years, hell no. Family, we have all been blessed with the opportunity to change the political discourse, and not just black America, but the whole country forever. All right. It'll never go back to vote blue no matter who. That's not happening, y'all. That's just not going to go down. If black folks think that they're just going to go out there and just go vote for nothing, and we watch Julio and Mr. Mutombo and Mr. Chang and Mr. Yao come into the country and get our benefits, that is not going to happen. Them days are over with. And it's all because of us. Simply when we get on code, things change. And the reason why you're seeing these changes is because we are on code. And the fact that Tethers right now, they don't know what to do. Y'all know why Tethers are so scared? Because they understand when the Democrats lose, they're going back home. Their cousins ain't going to come running over here. They're not going to get their aunties and uncles from all these damn villages, and they're going to come over here and team up on FBA, and then they're going to reap reap all the benefits from what we put in. Hell no. Hell no. The Tethers are afraid right now. The Democrats are afraid right now. And if ain't nobody going to tell you that, I'm going to tell you, because I'm Black Alpha and I don't give a damn. I'm going to speak the real no matter how they want to hear it. We're going to give it to them that real certified fashion. FBA is standing on business, and FBA is winning right now. And nobody else out there can compete with us. This election has literally our fingerprints all over it. And that is the way that we're going to have to continue to go forward. And it's not going to stop. We're a month out, y'all. A month out. They thought we was going to get tired, y'all. They thought reparations was going to be something that we just fell back from and say, all right, well, we'll just chill out. Y'all know all those protests black folks used to be having? When black folks be out there protesting left and right, they'll do that for how long? A week? They'll do that for about a week, and then they'll go home. They thought we do that with reparations. Nope. All the things when we say we want an anti-black American hate crime protection, they thought we was going to go out there and do that for a week and then go home. We said nope. They thought we was going to say, well, tangibles is cool, but, we're going to go take a nap. Nope. We've gotten stronger. Look at this movement, y'all. Look at this I'm talking about this real grassroots movement that was birthed by us. We're getting stronger every single day. Don't let nobody tell you. I don't give a damn who they are. If anybody comes around you and they start hitting you with that defeat, that we got it bad and we need to do better, damn that. We are on the right path right now because you see the way we're affecting everybody. Kamala Harris is out there and she's sweating bricks because she don't know what's next. All right. Barack Obama, where the hell he at right now? You don't see Barack coming out. Barack know better. Barack Obama, if he felt that he could help Kamala Harris, he'd be out there campaigning with her today. The very fact is Barack Obama, he did what? He went to the Democratic convention, gave a speech, and took his ass back home because he knows he does not affect or influence Black America no more. Translation, we ran his ass out the paint. Same way we're going to run Kamala out the goddamn paint or anybody else who comes here. So you can look at the title FBA versus Tethers and Democrats. And that means when foundational Black Americans destroy the Democratic plantation, the Tethers are going right along with it. It's two birds with one stone. That's the way we get in. That's the way we handle our business. And that's what we're doing right now in the flesh. So let's continue to put in that work. And I want to have all my brothers and sisters chop it up. I want to continue to have these type of spaces until the election. You know what I'm saying? And y'all can all, by the way, subscribe to the Black Alpha Network on YouTube. Make sure y'all go there and subscribe. And just all my brothers and sisters in the new Black media, because we're powerful as hell. Ain't no Russian bots here, y'all. They try to tell us that we Russian bots. You know what that really means? That means y'all FBA are too goddamn strong. And we're afraid. Anytime they tell you, you sound like a Trump supporter, they're afraid. Anytime they tell you, who's paying you, they're afraid. I want y'all to start doing things. See through it. You got to see the forest through the trees, family. Okay? You got to see it. You got to start telling these people what they're up to, and then you run their ass out the paint so they don't run the same type of con game over and over and over. This is our time, y'all. This is where we at. This is the business that we standing on. And I want to have this good discussion. I want to continue these good discussions with our brothers and sisters. Because like I always say on the Black Alpha Network, sometimes you got to stop and pop your own goddamn collar. All right. That's what we need to do right here. We need to pop our own goddamn collar and let the world know that this energy that we have today is going to be the energy that we carry with us. And when we carry this energy with us, anybody's got a problem is going to have to deal with it. We got a first speaker right here. I think it's Park Avenue. You got Reginald Lewis in your profile. So that's a good thing. Come on up. Tell me how you feel. And anybody else who wants to come on up, come on up. We're going to chop it up and break it down. Go ahead.
What's up? What's up? Before I begin talking about anything, I got to make sure, can we have a conversation? Can we talk? I'm not going to talk over none of y'all. If you want to talk over me, that's fine. But I just want to have a conversation and be able to share our thoughts and just have a peaceful conversation, because I'm here to learn. I don't want to do a whole bunch of talking. I'm here to learn and listen. Is that okay?
I don't know what you're getting at, brother. You want to talk? That's why I brought you up. Come on. What's on your mind?
Of course. All right. So I'm also an FBA. Family lineage goes to Alabama, North Carolina. Thankfully, I grew up in a household where Black pride was a big thing in my household, and I've definitely shaped my beliefs around that. You mentioned Reginald Lewis, obviously, my profile pic. One thing I have been finding interesting in this election that I gotta say that I didn't really see so much in 2020 is the way that the coalitions are trying to be made right now. I've been looking at a lot of polling data, been looking at a lot of groups, and one thing that I've been seeing is that it seems as if the country as a whole, has moved to the right on a lot of issues, especially with immigration, right? I think everybody, whether you live in the North, the South, wherever, people are going to the right when it comes to immigration. They do want to see less immigrants coming over. They do want to see a tighter border, and so on and so on. I think a lot of other areas are become more right too. So with that being said, one thing that I noticed in 2020 was that obviously we saw the big rush, the big, movement for the George Floyd situation, the lynching of him. A lot of people were out protesting. A lot of people were upset. A lot of people wanted to see some action get done. And it just seemed as if, like, after that happened, it seemed with a lot of movements, right? The first thing people want to do is kind of lobby, work with the legislators, raise money, start a group, do whatever it takes. We saw BLM that clearly they had a lot of faults there, right? I'm going to talk about that. But it just seems like a lot of the people who were advocating for so much justice, so much of the right causes, just did not continue that flame in the last 4 years. And because of that, we've seen now a rise in ultra right-wing conservative. I mean, there are people now who are translating Hitler's videos and trying to make an excuse saying that this man was actually a good man. And now he has now become so popular. There are now candidates who are talking about having a crystal knot. If you recall what crystal knot was, that was when in Germany they had one day where they just completely destroyed one group of people's businesses, homes. It was the night of broken glasses. It was a day of violence, right? And now we have a candidate who's calling for an hour of violence. And we are seeing such a rise of right-wing ultra conservatism. I would want to call it neo-Nazism. And I'm just scratching my head thinking, where is everybody that was protesting, in 2020? Yeah, you know what? We didn't get everything done. But I don't think that anybody gets everything done in 4 years because of how, unfortunately, the Congress works. But I just wanted to share my thoughts, share my findings, see what you have to say.
I got a question for you. You sound like a Democrat. You a Democrat?
I'm not a registered one. I will be voting one because my top.
What are you in your heart and your mind?
I am someone who looks out for my family and my personal well-being.
No, I'm not talking about your morality. I'm not talking about your morality. I'm talking about how you engage in the political process. I'm not talking about how you grew up or your favorite food. I'm talking about how you engage in the political process, which narrows that down to two different parties, Republican or Democrat. Which one?
My top issues for this election, and I'll answer your question. My top issues for this election, number one is, of course, preserving this country's democracy, right? That's my top issue. If any candidate is out there advocating, talking, planning, conspiring to make sure that people's votes do not count, that if it doesn't go their way, you have lost my vote. That's number one.
Who do you feel is doing that right now? Who do you feel is doing that? Like you said, if any candidate is doing that, who do you believe is doing that?
I'm going to take the words of a vice president who served with a man for 4 years who said that he did that. So Mike Pence came out to the world and he said, this man put himself above the Constitution. So if anybody knows more than Mike Pence, I would love to meet them. But Mike Pence himself, we just came out in the Jack Smith documents where it was all put there as well. Several interviews from people who worked close to Donald Trump. I don't know if anybody here has worked close to Donald Trump. I personally haven't, but I'm going to put the words of Mike Pence, who served 4 years as his vice president, right to his hip over anybody else I will listen to.
Now, let me ask you this question. Are you willing to take the word of Mike Pence when he said that Donald Trump was a great man and he was willing and ready to serve with him? Because those are also quotes from Mike Pence as well.
I'm going to take the words that Mike Pence said those things because he thought that he had a better, that was the best way for the future, for the country forward. That's what I'm going to take the words for.
So Mike Pence, under your logic, Mike Pence talks out of both sides of his neck and he made a mistake. So you're taking the logic of a mistake.
No.
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Whoa. Hold up. So Mike Pence made statements about Donald Trump being such a great man and an honorable man that he served with him. He chose to be his vice president because you don't have to be. You don't have to be. So Mike Pence chose to be his vice president, and then later he came back and said things on him. So by your logic, you're taking the word of somebody who basically said two things at the same time and was completely inconsistent with his assessment of Donald Trump.
No, I'm saying
that's really what happened.
People can change their mind just the same way that J.D. Vance also has changed his mind, right? I mean, the same thing could be applied to J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance said...
Here's the difference, though. Here's the difference. When a surgeon changes his mind, I'll tell you what it is. It's called a high-performance job. So if a surgeon changes his mind in the middle of an operation, that's different than a bus driver, okay? So what I'm telling you is the fact that Mike Pence was all on board. Yeah, it's called high performance, okay? High performance job, all right? So one person over here, they don't necessarily have the opportunity to flip-flop when you're the president or vice president of the United States of America. I mean, so imagine if somebody said, we're not going to have a defense system and we get bombed. They say, oh, we should have had it. Well, shoulda, coulda, woulda doesn't really pay in politics, in the political world. So you're taking this from Mike Pence, what Mike Pence said. Mike Pence. No, that's what you said. That's what you said. You're taking it from Mike Pence. I'll let you talk in a second. I'll let you talk in a second. I'll let you talk in a second.
Go ahead.
Now, as I'm saying is, you put a lot of stake on Mike Pence when he's saying something negative about Donald Trump. But at the same time, he also said a lot of positive things. The negative thing you're saying about Donald Trump, he said in one day. The positive things he said about Donald Trump were for 3 years. And what it really sounds like, it's not necessarily about Mike Pence saying these things. I believe that you're taking these words from Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. And Donald Trump is being a proxy for that because you wouldn't even admit that you're a Democrat. We know what a Democrat looks like. You won't admit that you're a Democrat and you tapped around saying the name of Donald Trump. But this sounds like, sir, it sounds like MSNBC, CNN rhetoric. And it sounds like someone's trying to stop democracy. Let me tell you about democracy. What's more of a threat to democracy, Donald Trump or the Democratic Party allowing illegal aliens to vote in this country? Which one's a bigger threat to democracy? No. Answer that question. Yes or no? Which one's a bigger threat to this country? Donald Trump?
Illegal. It is illegal for anyone who's not a citizen, an illegal immigrant, to vote in an election.
Then how come all the documentations of illegals who are out here actively voting, these people aren't being arrested?
Republican.
I have seen proof of it. I've seen proof of it, and you should look it up on the internet.
Know more than
I absolutely do know more than you, apparently. I obviously know more than a lot of Democratic shields because I operate in reality. Now, it doesn't take a intellectual superior person to simply do a search and find out that illegals are voting all throughout the United States of America. And on top of that, there's something called the SAVE Act, in which the Democrats were trying to facilitate that would allow Democratic establishment, Democratic districts to have illegals come in and vote. These things, sir, are all obvious and on the table. These aren't conspiracies. These aren't the words of Mike Pence. These are documentations that are going on in the United States of America. And the fact that you're trying to act like these things aren't occurring, that is a typical Democratic con game where the Democrats tell people don't trust your eyes. See, if you trust your eyes, you don't believe what the Democrats say. All right. If you don't go the other direction, then the Democrats get upset with you. The reality of the situation is that everybody knows, everyone knows, sociologists, pollsters, number crunchers, that the Democrats are trying to get illegals on the voter blocks. And through the own testimony of illegal aliens, I've seen people who are illegal saying that they go down to vote. And it's all throughout the internet, all throughout social media, and everybody who's operating with a reality-driven mind understands these things. And it seems like the only people who do not want to really acknowledge the fact that illegals are voting and being pushed to vote in America are people who are heavily Democratic shills. So it's making, I think, about 100 people in this room wonder, are you a Democratic shill? A Democratic shill meaning someone who does, says, and thinks anything that the Democratic establishment wants them to think. And our flags are heavily up. And just to let you know, we're batting 100. So if it looks that way for us, it's probably true. But I'll go ahead and before I get to you, Brother Stage, let me let this brother respond and allow him to tell everybody how long he has been a Democratic shill. Sir, how long have you been a Democratic shill? Are you new or are you old to this? The floor is yours.
Number one.
Number 1 year? So you've been a Democratic shill for 1 year. It seems like you may have been a Democratic shill for a little longer than that. Be honest with us, sir. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Number one, I want to say is that I work in an industry that I don't care who wins. You know what I care about? To make sure that the clients I work with.
Freeze real quick. And I hate to mute you again, brother, but I have to stop you from saying that. You don't care who wins, but through your energy, your frequency, and your motivation, it seems like you really are invested in this. You just went back and quoted Mike Pence, what he said about Donald Trump. You went and you smeared and slandered Donald Trump's name. It sounds like you really do have a dog in this race. So if we're going to have this conversation, you have to be intellectually honest. Don't go here with all of this vigor and tell us how you just don't really care and it's not really a big deal. Typically, when people say something's not a big deal after they just went in on it with a lot of energy, that means they really do care. They just don't want to make it look like they do. So tell us that you care and then give the reasons why you care.
I want to be able to finish my thoughts.
Go ahead.
Thank you. I did not say I don't care. I got cut off before I was able to finish. I said that I work in an industry that is market related.
You by the way, brother, you did just say that you really don't care who wins.
No,
so you just misquoted yourself.
I did not say that.
Hey, misquote me. Don't misquote yourself.
Okay, well, then I'm just going to finish anyway. So,
mistake. Don't. Hey, you got to be honest with the listeners. Now, I allowed you to talk, but you got to be honest with the listeners. Did you guys hear him say he really doesn't care who wins? Put up a thumbs up or 100 if you heard him say that he doesn't really care who wins. Because I heard him say he really don't care who wins. Now he's saying, well, I never said that I don't care. Which one is it? Because you misquoted yourself in a matter of 2 seconds. Be intellectually honest with us and be intellectually honest with everyone. Be real. Like I said, you can misquote Mike Pence. You can misquote Kylie Green Kamala. You can misquote Dinosaur Joe Biden. But do not misquote yourself, brother. The easiest thing you could do is quote yourself because you said it. So I will not mute you. I just want to make sure that we're having an intellectual, honest conversation because everything I've said about illegals voting, about the Democrats lying about it, that is documented by millions of people. What you're saying is not even documented by yourself, even though you just said it. Go ahead. I won't unmute you. You know what I'm saying? Until you get it together. So get it together and I won't mute you again. Go ahead. Floor is yours.
Okay. I work in an industry that allows me to make sure that my number one priority is that who works best for your clients. So party is not the biggest thing. Candidate is, I see. There are candidates that run for office who are better for the market, and there are candidates who run for office who are not so good for the market. So that's what I also look at. My number 2 issue is the economy. The market research analysts I work with, my own research that I work with, have all agreed, many other financial institutions have all agreed that the financial economic plans put by both candidates, Kamala Harris's economic plan, by word of the other financial institutions as well as my own, that her plan is better. I do want to comment on one thing real quick. I'm going to read the transcript, the exact words that everybody here can listen to, of a conversation between Donald Trump and the Republican Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, from Georgia. He is a Republican. Quote, in theory, I lost by, the margin would be 11,779. But you have a substantial number of people, thousands of thousands, who went to the voting place on November 3. He then goes on to say, we just need 11,780 votes. That is a conversation after the election took place where Donald Trump is asking for votes from a Republican Secretary of State who, along with his Republican governor, said that there was no evidence in their, you know, they are election officials. I mean, they are governor and Secretary of States. So I don't think anybody here has a better say on what happened in their own states. I think it would be in their advantage for him to win. But they both have said that there was not voter fraud in that state. So I look at that as well. And this isn't rhetoric. This isn't like a thought. This isn't a theory. This is a recorded line that everybody in America has access to, where this man is on the phone with a person who has the power to change the election, asking him to illegally give him more votes to illegally win the election. I'm an American. I pay taxes here. My family's.
Okay, I appreciate that. Listen, now I have to jump in real quick, and I got to interject. You lied to me again, because originally you said the number one goal in this election was about saving the democracy. Just now, you said it's about the economy. Which one is it? Once again, you gave me two different answers about your own intentions. Misquote me, don't misquote yourself. Second off, Donna Brazile, Hillary Clinton, and a plethora of Democrats have also said that elections were not true, and they actually protested the results. And once again, there are videos all over the internet, literally 10, 12 minutes of just Democrats saying the election results are not true. Now, all of that is very, very mute. The thing that's the most important to Black Americans, you say you're a Black American, the thing that is the most true and the thing that we're most focused on is reparations and stopping immigration. It seems like to you, those are not actual issues. And if those are not issues to you, or at least high priority issues, then we definitely got to ring the alarm about you being a Democratic shield. Because by every single metric, the number 1, 2, and 3 things that Black Americans want, and I'm talking about your average, everyday Black American. I'm not talking about the Divine Nine. I'm not talking about people like yourself who vote Democrat blindly. I'm not talking about Donald Trump or Mike Pence. We're talking about reparations, stopping illegal immigration or just the immigration flow, and getting an anti-Black American hate crime law. Now, since I allowed you to talk, I'm going to ask you, what are your stances and how high do you prioritize those 3? And that's going to allow us to know, are you someone who's representing the average everyday Black American, or are you somebody who represents the average everyday Democratic shield? Reparations, illegal immigration, and an anti-Black American hate crime law. All that other stuff about the election stopping and all that stuff. The problem what you're doing right now, you're talking about 2020. We're talking about 2024 and going into 2025. You sound just like the moderators the other night from the vice president debate. The average American, since you talk about Americans and where you work and all those things, there's inflation out here in the streets. And by the way, how great is that Kamala Harris, Joe Biden administration policy? Because they created a whole lot of inflation. And I'm at the store, and a lot of people who, are at the stores, and we're seeing that all the food is gone and all the paper towels are gone and all the essentials are gone. That is all a direct result of the Kamala Harris, Joe Biden administration. And you're trying to tell us about Donald Trump from 2020. What we do know for a fact is in 2020, that wasn't happening. What we do know for a fact is there weren't 22 legal aliens in this country just when Donald Trump is in office. And also there weren't wars all over the Middle East right now when Donald Trump is in office. Those things are all based on Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. So I don't know if you're trying to tell us that we need to vote for Kamala Harris, but as we look at Kamala Harris, go to the store and you see her policies, not from 2020, not from 2019, from 2024. Right now, we see the policies and everything that the Joe Biden, Kamala Harris administration has presented, and it does not look good. So we don't need to have quotes from people and all that kind of stuff. And we don't need to go in a time machine and go back to 2020 or 2016. All we really are doing is looking forward, and it doesn't look too good with their policies. So let me ask you about reparations and illegal immigration. What are your stances on those? The floor is yours. Go ahead, Park Avenue. Floor is yours.
So My phone sometimes glitches. I don't know why. Like when I get muted, it doesn't come back to me, but I'm back. Okay. So I said that the economy was number 2, but my number 1 issue, like I said before, was obviously just the country, right? Preserving it. Number 2 is the economy. And when it comes in terms of reparations, when it comes in terms of illegal immigration, other things that are obviously very popular, particularly with Black people, I'll say that so illegal immigration, right? You asked me about my personal feelings with that. I live right next to migrant housing in New York City, in Manhattan. It's absolutely terrible. It's absolutely terrible seeing the influx of people who clearly are running up resources, and it's causing a lot of problems.
Who's responsible for that? Donald Trump or Joe Biden and Kamala Harris?
Kamala Harris, well, Joe Biden as president is 100% responsible for that. There's absolutely no way you could look at it, right? I'm gonna let you. I got to inject on that. You say Joe Biden. I see what you want to do. That's a Democratic shield kind of tactic, and everybody listening. Joe Biden and
Joe Biden and Vice
President Harris right next.
Both
to
of
her.
them.
I mean, come on, they're both there.
So you're putting the blame on her as well, right? You're not leaving her off to the side now, are you?
She was right there with him. Yes.
Okay, so make sure you say that loud so everybody hears. Don't say Joe Biden and Kamala Harris.
No problem with that.
I got to make it clear now. No. Okay, so you're saying that both of them are responsible for the illegal immigrant. You're saying both of them are responsible for the illegal migrant influx that is taking up resources, taking jobs away from people. But yet you're saying that you're concerned about the economy. All economists and sociologists studies have proven that the influx of mass immigration is one of the damning things to the American economy for all people. And you're saying that you're living right next to one. So I have a hard time believing that you're living right next to one and you're seeing it occur and you're watching the way it's draining resources, but yet you still say that the economy is better under Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. That is very, very funny style, and it looks very, very amusing. Go ahead, you can respond.
In terms of the economy, there are many different things that you could look at with the economy, right? Let's just take the stock market, where I specialize in, I work in. It's at a record high right now. The stock market under the Biden-Harris administration has done just as well as it did under Trump and Pence. That's number 1. Number 2, we also have seen a record. We didn't see a recession, right? That was a big thing. We had a soft landing. The Federal Reserve is now pushing to bring their interest rates down, which is showing that the economy is doing relatively well. Today, we got numbers from the ISM services that they report every month. They came out higher than expected. ISM, for those who are not familiar with it, ISM shows how the economy is doing outside of manufacturing industry. So it was at 59 today. The expectations were at 51, showing that the economy is doing relatively well. The American consumer numbers are still pretty positive going into the Q4, which is where Christmas is, which is great because the economy should see a boost also from spending in Christmas. Unemployment is also very low right now, which is also great because when Biden took office, it was at a record high. He's leaving office in about 90 days, I would say, and it's also now at a pretty low. We saw the lowest Black unemployment numbers there. We also saw an increase in wages. Take-home pay, we did not see the increase that we wanted to see, but when it came to wages, we did see that. We did see a higher increase in that, right? So that's all good. When it comes to the federal deficit, the trade deficit, the federal deficit was cut more under Biden than it was under Trump. Trump added $9 trillion to the federal deficit. Biden did more than any president in 4 years, right? Biden.
That's not true. 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 That's completely false. Absolutely. And by the way, all those intellectual people you be around, I'm one of them as well. And I got a whole family full of them. So I got a lot of sources as well. That's not true, the numbers that you're stating. And this is another Democratic shield talking point. They just throw out numbers. Family, remember, I'm always telling you guys, be very cautious of people who just throw numbers up in the air. 9.725 at a 3.6 on the left day on the weekend / Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay, get to the point. Brothers, sisters, Black Americans are out here suffering and we're struggling. And the more I look at the whole country, people are out here. That sounds all nice. But when people cannot afford groceries, we don't care about the 0.65 deficit from 1952. All right. What we care about is something that should be costing $4, costing us $52. That's the problem in which Black Americans and all Americans are suffering from right now. That is a lot of word salad. So that's you sound like Kamala right now, just word salad. But you know what I'm saying? You're talking not a lot of it's making any sense. But I'm going to make the sense for you. The Democratic establishment as a whole, and particularly the Biden-Harris administration, they have set back so many things that were already put in place by not just Donald Trump, but you can even to a degree say Barack Obama. They went backwards from there. They have been one of the worst administrations that you've ever seen. And I just have a hard time wondering how Joe Biden did all of this, but Joe Biden isn't even old enough to remember where he's at. Joe Biden is on the beach right now in Delaware sleeping while people are down here suffering. I'm in Georgia and I just seen the hurricane occur. I don't care about your 6.2 decimal points, and half of that is lies anyway or incorrect math. And I'm an accountant. OK, so all that intellectual stuff, we go there all the way there. Yes, I do. When you're talking about the Biden-Harris administration, what I see is Kamala Harris out here talking about giving people $750, and they just gave another couple billion to Ukraine. How about that? You hear them talking about giving people $750, and yet they're out here giving migrants and immigrants 5-star hotels and scooters, new cars. They're giving them debit cards. And have you seen all of the receipts where these migrants are coming in based on testimonies from cashiers who actually took them in? And you see that they're getting thousands of dollars on their EBT card. What about those numbers? Because you're giving us a bunch of numbers and the stock market went up and it went down. We all know that the stock market is exactly that. It goes up and it goes down. So you're not just going to take the stock market and say, well, you know, it went up for 3 weeks and that's all because of Biden. No. That's not how it works. And that's an old con game that people use in the political atmosphere where they point to a high rise in the actual stock market, which a lot of times has nothing to do with politics. It has a lot to do with the private sector and actual people who work on the stock market exchange. So that's another cap that we're exposing right here, right now. We go there. So when you start talking about money, how about all the money that's being sent out of this country? Does that not concern you? Does it not concern you that you sit there and you see the Ukrainian president come over here and every time he leaves with a bag by the billions? While again, Americans can't even go afford groceries. OK, baby formula ain't even at the stores right now. This is the reality. What I told y'all, if you see reality, you'll never vote for the Democratic Party. If you do not understand reality and you live in some offshoot fantasy land, like apparently Mr. Park Avenue does, then you'll say all these Democratic talking points. The fact is, people care about their pocketbooks. They care about their families. They talk about what they're really dealing with in real time. Not a bunch of numbers from ABC, NBC, CBS, none of that. We're talking about real human beings living real human being experiences. And we can all tell without having to go down the Democratic Avenue that people are struggling, suffering, and it's not as good as it has been for the last 3 years as it was the 3 years prior to that. And that is undebatable and that is undisputable. Point blank. So back to it. I started talking about immigration and reparations, and you start talking about the stock market and you start talking about domestic gross product. No. Answer the question about reparations for Black Americans, and I want you to go in. If you are saying what you say and you mean it about immigration being bad, don't spend 2 seconds on it and then go on this whole goddamn cheerleading thing for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Put the same amount of time, energy, and effort to criticizing their immigration plan and give me some real critical statements about how they failed America. And I want you to see if what you're saying adds up with everybody in this chat is seeing. So what you're saying and what we're seeing, I want to see if it adds up. Tell me about the immigration crisis and how that's literally crippling a lot of places, Chicago, New York. You're seeing it all through Texas. You're seeing it out in California. I don't know if you just missed those places, but those are real places in the United States of America, and the immigration crisis is happening. Matter of fact, do you know there's Latinos against illegal immigration? So let me guess, Latinos who are against illegal immigration, they're just making it up too, right? They just don't see it either. So you have Latinos who are against it. You have Black Americans who are against it. You got every single person in the United States of America that knows the problems with mass illegal immigration, except for you and the Democratic Party. I want you to talk about what's going on politically with immigration and how it drains resources. And if you dodge it, you jump around it, then that means that you are content with it and that you excuse it. The floor is yours. And also talk about reparations. Do you support reparations? Because I asked you that 3 times, very clear, and you didn't even get to it. You try to pivot all of us over here to the stock market, but I'm going to pivot your ass right on back to the question in which I asked, because Democrats don't dance around my questions. They got to answer them directly. Answer it directly. Illegal immigration, reparations, and an anti-Black American hate crime law. Those are the things that are important to us. We don't vote blue no matter who. We vote black, BLACK. Now, the floor is yours. Answer those 3 questions directly. No tap dancing, no sliding, no moonwalking. Floor is yours.
Okay. So I 100% am behind reparations. The other day, I was talking on a Twitter space, and I had proposed the idea to start a super PAC, get everybody here, each person in all the different states, the same way that AIPAC does it. AIPAC, the Jewish lobbyist group, they have a super PAC, and they assign 2 people to each representative in the U.S. Congress. We need to do that with reparations. That's the only way I see a foreseeable future for reparations. I don't see a future where reparations can become law from just talking about it on a Twitter space. I don't think that AIPAC spends their time talking about Jewish causes on Twitter space.
Stop. I got to stop you real quick because that's disingenuous. And I'm sorry to have to interrupt you, but I can't stand. Brothers and sisters in California actually got together and came up with a real comprehensive reparations packet. And it was by the Black Caucus Democrats in California, including Gavin Newsom. Did you miss that too, Mr. Democrat man? Did that not come across your timeline? It seems like illegal immigration, result of the Democrats, reparations bills, result of the Democrats, inflation, can't buy nothing at the grocery store, all results of the Democrats. You seem to have a blind spot for all of that, but you got X-ray vision for Mike Pence and Donald Trump and Joy Reid and MSNBC. Seems like you only see things that the Democrats put on the table, but you don't see these things. We don't have to do no damn AIPAC representative. We don't have to do what the Jews do. We have put together plenty of reparation studies, and we've conquered them, and then we present the results, and then they destroy them. So did you not see what's going on in California? Family, everybody listening to this right now. Do not allow these people, these Democratic shields, to tell us that we just don't really have our business together. We have our business together. We are thorough. All across the 50 states, brothers and sisters have been putting together reparations plans to the dollar, to the cents. And it doesn't matter what we put together, because whenever we present it, they just come up with an excuse to kill it. Remember, they'll create a bill to kill a bill just to say they tried to sign the bill. Remember that. That's the Democratic policy. All right. They'll come up with something fake just so they can kill it. And then they can say, well, we tried. HR 40, same thing. So when brothers and sisters got rid of that, and we said, no, that ain't good enough. We're going to come up with something a little more modern, something that is really reflective of the people. The Democrats got scared and they ran for it. And then next thing you know, when we put it on the table, the Democrats said, well, we can't really do it because the decimal point, 652, the stuff you're talking about, all that throwing numbers in the sky. All right. Everything hollow, nothing solid. We have our business together clearly. And we're not out here on Twitter spaces talking reparations. I've been to plenty reparations hearings all throughout the United States of America, as well as all my brothers and sisters here right now. So it's very disingenuous. And quite frankly, it's very, very whack to tell us that we just don't have our business together and we need to do it the right way. We've done it the right way. Brothers and sisters protest. The Democrats deny reparations. Brothers and sisters said, okay, we're not going to protest. We're going to put some suits on. We're going to go in here to the business table and negotiate. Then the Democrats still kill the bills. So acknowledge the fact that no matter what Black Americans do, the Democratic Party is resistant to reparations. Now, you tell us that the Democratic Party is who we need to vote for, and that's what you said. The Democrats are who we need to vote for. But why would we vote for a party that no matter what we present and no matter how high class of fashion that we present it to them, they still kill the bill? What it looks like is that they're anti-Black and they don't want to get caught. What it looks like is that they're oppositions to Black Americans and they don't want to get caught. What it looks like is they'll say any goddamn thing to get us to go vote. But when it comes down to us getting something for the vote, then they're the first ones to put a blockade in front of it. Whether that's just the bill, whether that's trying to stop the bill, or whether that's just giving us word salad like you're doing. Acknowledge the fact of what happened in California. That's what I want you to do. Acknowledge what went on in California, because that's disingenuous. Or Again, you just didn't see it happening. And both of those answers are wrong. Floor is yours again.
So what happened in California from the black legislators who told obviously the black community, right, they had their backs. They failed. They failed tremendously. They failed incredibly. They failed the people that elected them. There's no excuse for their failure. 100%, full stop. The buck stopped with them, and they failed to get the job done. I wouldn't stand here and tell anyone to vote for anybody. I can speak on behalf of myself.
But you're advocating heavy. You're advocating. You're advocating, though. You're doing a lot of advocacy for the Democrats, which is the same as telling people who to vote for. Come on, don't play us funny, man.
Well, look,
keep it real.
Look, I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna keep it real.
Keep it real reality, not real Democrat. There's a difference.
Okay, well, I'll keep it real. So I'm not sure what next I'm allowed to talk about before getting cut off. But you know, as far as reparations, and one thing that I'm also interested in, and again, I mean, I'm not sure how much stock you put into like polling and studies and things like that. I don't know if it matters to you. That's fine if it doesn't. A lot of people don't believe them. I personally don't, put a whole bunch of value into them. But I have never seen a study, a poll, whatever, right? Whether it's Pew, whether it's Gallup, whether it's Fox, whether it's Emerson, whether it's whoever. I've never seen a poll come out. I don't know why this is. Maybe they're just lying, and maybe they are lying. I wouldn't put it past them. But I've never seen a poll where they've asked black voters what their priorities are in this election, and reparations was the number, at least 3 issue.
Well, you must have not seen. You must have not seen when the NAACP actually, and mind you, the NAACP is a Democratic sponsored organization. The NAACP actually put out something that said, "What are the biggest issues for Black Americans?" And reparations was number 1. They did that like 3 or 4 years ago. Did you miss that as well?
Well, okay. I'm not talking about groups putting it out, right? I'm saying when they talk.
Well, what is a poll? A poll is a group putting something out. It's the same as NAACP. They put out their own poll. As you cite all these other polls, the NAACP, an organization that's been around for hundreds of years, they put out their own poll. And their poll said that reparations was, yes, they said reparations is it an issue to black folks? They said is reparations an issue to black folks, and overwhelmingly black Americans said reparations was. So they have their thumb on the pulse of what we want. And this notion that they don't know what we want, then why do they even have reparations panels and reparations committees all across the United States of America? Family, do you guys realize right now what he just did? He tried to basically tell us, I've never seen a poll that said, do you want reparations? Okay, then why are there reparations committees all across the United States of America? That means that they know. So now he's trying to do the whole, well, they don't know why. Okay, so just a minute ago, it was, y'all don't have your business right. Look at all the back doors and the front doors and the windows in which he's trying to oppose us. Okay, he tried to oppose us coming through the front door with the, y'all just need to get your money right and do it like the Jews do. I shut that down. Then he walked his ass around the back door and he tries to come in with the, well, I never seen a poll that says, why does reparations matter? And now I'm shutting that down. If they don't know that reparations matters, then how come Kamala Harris in 5 different interviews has answered questions about reparations, sir? We have it all documented. Or did you miss that documentation too? Kamala Harris has spoke about reparations consistently. Joe Biden has spoke about reparations consistently. Yes, all the time, across the board, you see all types of reparations committees that are all allegedly sponsored by the Democrats. You have them in California, you have them in Atlanta, you have them all throughout Chicago, New York. So the Democrats are very, very, very well aware that reparations is such a big issue to Black Americans. They just refuse to acknowledge it because deep down inside, they don't want us to have reparations the same way you don't want us to have reparations, because it's not about the betterment or the welfare of Black Americans. It's about the betterment and the welfare of the Democratic plantation. And obviously that's a place where your address is. Shut down, shut down, shut down. Go ahead, brother. It's on you. Yeah, I know, man. That was good, wasn't it? Hey, it was so good. He laughing, y'all. Y'all know we working. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that, family. Go ahead.
I'm not sure where to go from all that. I look, like I said before, I'm 100% backing reparations. I've donated to the brother out in South Carolina who was running for Congress.
What's that brother's name? What's his
campaign? Marcel, I can't remember. I mean, I donated him in 2020. I just can't. I don't. He actually. I don't.
You talking about Marcel Dixon? Is that who you're talking about?
That I said his first name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Marcel's my good friend. It's my brother right there. And I guarantee you, Marcel would not be agreeing with anything you're saying right now because you're using Marcel as a proxy for reparations, but yet you're saying the opposite of what Marcel talks about.
You don't have to agree with everything somebody says.
No, you don't have to. But I'm talking about in terms of reparations. Your talking points, your viewpoint, and your excuses, alibis, and justifications are nowhere near what Marcel talks about. Matter of fact, I was just with Marcel about 2 weeks ago. We went to a MAGA rally down here in Georgia. Okay. And I seen his reparations plan and I know what he advocates for. And you're actually advocating for the complete opposite of what Marcel speaks about. So we're not going to use my brother Marcel as a proxy to basically say, look, y'all, I got a black friend. Did he just black friend us? You just see this with you got a black friend. I got a black FBA freedman friend and I donated to him. So is that the third door? Brother, you done did a circle around the whole goddamn house. You done went through the front door. You done went through the back door. Now you up there trying to get through the top window. Just say it. You are not for reparations. You are not for stopping illegal immigration. You're not for Black American hate crime law, which we haven't even got to. You're for democratic policy. And everybody has to understand that Black Democrats or alleged Black Democrats are the only block of people who agree with their political party at 100% rate. Latinos do not agree with Democrats at 100%. Arabs, nope. Jews, nope. Africans don't even. But yet these Black Democrats who come here, they all agree with the Democratic Party 100 times out of 100. I don't agree with my wife 100 times out of 100. I don't agree with my mama 100 times out of 100. And you sit here and you say, well, you know, we're not going to agree with everybody every time when you're talking about Marcel. Then how come every single thing that you saying sounds just like the Democratic establishment? Go to any Democratic website, y'all, and read their policies and then listen to this right now. You're agreeing with every single thing that the Democrats say. We call that where I'm from taking orders. Okay. When somebody disagrees, they're thinking independently. When someone goes along with everything, that's called taking orders. That's some jump how high, boss. That's some what's the matter, boss? We sick kind of stuff. You sound like Joy Reid. You sound like Roland Martin. You sound like Broken Buckari Sellers. And you kind of sound like Vanessa Jones as well. And this is what you typically see with Democratic shills. They agree, they agree, they agree, they agree, they agree. I offered you the opportunity to critique the immigration policy of Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, and you breezed right past it and you start talking about the stock market. I offered you the opportunity to talk about reparations, and somehow you started talking about donate to Marcel. Donating to Marcel is not the same as supporting reparations. And you can support reparations in multiple ways. You can be a politician and you can actually sign the bills and present them. What happened out there in California, and when brothers and sisters did that, the Black Caucus. Or you can simply advocate for it. Y'all notice none of these people advocate. If Kamala Harris went on national television right now and advocated for reparations, for real, things would change. Joe Biden, things would change. They advocate for the Ukraine. They advocate for illegal immigrants. They'll sit there and have a goddamn press conference about illegal immigrants and yell at people and start crying. How come nobody advocates simply for reparations? What they do is they give you a bunch of word salad and a bunch of fork tongue. They talk in circles, squares, and rectangles, and it all leads you back to the same place. You can run, you can hide, but you're still where you reside, and that is at the Democratic plantation, a place that's probably got about a month left anyway. You can respond.
I just got to say, I got a friend who works over at NBC, or I'm sorry, Fox. You would be great. Like you're really.
I don't care where your friends work. Family, is this like the 13th time he told us where his friends work? We don't care where your friends work. That doesn't make you like smart. It doesn't make you better than anybody. Doesn't make you have some type of insight that we don't have. It don't matter. And I'd be good anywhere. You can put me on Fox News, ABC, NBC. You can put me anywhere. But guess what? I'm bringing that FBA flag with me. And when I go there, we going to leave with some money. All right. We're going to leave with a bag. So yeah, Fox News, if you're listening, come on, holla at me. And we're going to sit down at the table and we're going to leave with some money and some resources for foundational Black Americans. What we're not going to do is go there and start talking Democratic talking points. Let's be real, brother. Let's just get to the grassroots. Let's get to the fiber of the situation. You're not really in tune with Black Americans You represent the plantation. You think that the Democrats is your race, don't you? You believe that your race is not black. I don't know your lineage for sure. I'm starting to question if it is Black American, but say it is. Either way, domestically or abroad, you are on that Democratic plantation, and that's where your loyalty lies. And just discussing this with you, you've highlighted what we all know, and this is a good learning experience for those who don't know, and this is just sharpening your blade for folks who already do know. This is what you deal with Democratic shills. Their loyalty, politically and socially, and probably even spiritually, is the Democrats. All right. They're not black. They're Democrats. You're blue. All right. You're like Avatar or something. That's really what you are. You exude the Democrats in every single thing that you do. You agree with the Democratic establishment in every single thing you say. So that only leaves us left with you are a Democrat. And by the way, I talked about you going through the front door, the side door, through the windows. I guess you're trying to come through the chimney now, because what you were about to do right there is say that I sound like a Republican. And family, that's the 15th thing that they want to do to you. You sound like a MAGA supporter. You sound like Donald Trump. And I simply say you sound like a Democratic supporter, because both of them goddamn plantations are bad. Both of them. Don't let nobody come to you and say you sound like a supremacist on the left when they represent the supremacists on the right. Okay? That don't work no more. No. We independent, we certified, we foundational, we Black Americans, and what we say goes. And you obviously are struggling to answer simple questions about policies. You're struggling to critique anything that the Democrats have done, and you're struggling to stay consistent, and you're giving us a whole bunch of word salad. But family, I don't know anything that this gentleman is saying that isn't out of the playbook of the Democratic establishment. And I broke down all of these con games, trick bags, and maneuvers that you're trying to do to confuse us and run us in a circle. Let me tell you what my mama said. Can go up the street, down the block, around the corner. When you get here, I'll be waiting on you. So you can come up with any type of gymnastics, hurdle blockade that you want to facilitate the Democratic talking points. It don't matter, because we are standing on business, which means 10 toes down, which means we're right here and we're not moving. You're not going to convince anybody to vote for the Democrats, because deep down inside, no matter what you say or what you're about to say, that's really what you're trying to get us to do. I know Democratic shields like the back of my hand, family. I got a PhD in exposing Democrats. Easy work, like a part-time job. Floor is yours. Floor is yours. You can call me the Democratic Slayer.
So, I'm glad this is recorded, because I'll say it again, the immigration was a complete failure by Biden and Harris, right? I said that already.
You didn't elaborate, though. You said it, and then you start talking about the stock market. You didn't really elaborate. You didn't spend as much time on that as you spent on trying to convince us that they're not that.
How much more time do you want me to spend on it?
As much time as you spent on
every single day. I see it.
Spend as much time as you spent piping them up. So if you spend 15 minutes piping them up, then you need to spend 15 minutes putting the pipe down. Floor is yours. Come on, keep it moving. This ain't new. We've been talking for about 30 minutes. You know how I go. I don't know if your phone's glitching.
Yep.
I know your phone probably don't agree with you either. So your phone's probably protesting that boo. Go ahead. You didn't spend time talking about it.
What question do you have for me?
What else do I have? I want you to still answer the questions with some type of priority. All of them. Reparations. And I just told you, reparations, anti-Black American crime law, and illegal immigration. I want you to answer them in detail. See, family, this is the difference. They want to give it to you vague.
What is your question? Question?
Then you must have not been listening 3 or 4 times. Now, it's funny that you just said, I'm telling. Now, it's funny, just a second ago, family, he said, how much more do you want me to answer it? Now he's telling me, what's the question? You just told me that you answered it already. And how much time do you want me to hear you answer it? Now you're saying you don't know the question. Inconsistencies. I told you what it is. Everybody heard it. It's how do you feel about illegal immigration in detail? How do you feel about reparations in detail? I'm not talking about, yeah, they failed. What's for dinner tonight? Yeah, they failed. What's playing at the movie theater? I want you to go in details of why it failed. What led up to it failing? The main course of action that prevented it from succeeding, or was this what they did all along the board? Because see, what you've done is you've admitted that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are absolute losers in the political field, because you're still saying that they failed. Did they fail, or did they do exactly what they wanted to do? Yeah, see, that's the difference. Failing means I wanted to do something and I failed in the attempts to do it and couldn't make it happen. What they did is they carried out every single plan and policy that they ever wanted to do. These are your puppets. These are your folks. How do you not know these things? How am I teaching you what your master did? Your master said that you're already an American, even if you're illegal. That's what Joe Biden said. We want to surge the border. That's what Joe Biden said. The borders are Kamala Harris. They didn't fail in illegal immigration. They may have failed the American people, but they did exactly what they said they were going to do when it came to illegal immigration. Joe Biden is 4,500 years old. He's been telling us for the longest that he wants to bring in everybody. Chuck Schumer, another Democrat, he said we want to bring in everybody, documented or undocumented. It is the policy of the Democratic establishment to have a mass influx of illegal immigrants. What you said that you see in New York is happening by design. What I see in Georgia happening by design, California, Chicago, is happening by design. So when you say that they failed at it, that's really you admitting and not knowing that you're admitting and not knowing that you're getting caught. But I'm letting you know you got caught. Admitting that the Democratic establishment, Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, are not failures, they're losers. And they have no business being in office. If what you say by your own words is a failure, we have all just established that they did it on purpose. So that means that they were openly and actively harming United States of American taxpayer citizens with their immigration plan. Now, how is it that I can see that and break down what you said and give it right back to you, but you didn't realize that? There's no failures. You also said that the Black Caucus in California failed. They did not fail. They did it on purpose. Family, I want everybody to understand the difference between someone failing and then someone trying to stop you. All right. The reparations bill in California, it didn't fail. It was defeated. All right. It was defeated. It was stopped on purpose. These people had the attempts to try to stop us, and they did. They didn't do it by accident. It wasn't a coincidence. You know, that sounds better, don't it? Doesn't that sound better? If you were somebody who was piping up Joe Biden's 3,037-year-old, it would sound a lot better to say he failed, right? If you were somebody who was on Kamala Harris's collard greens in the bathtub, Indian Punjabi, it'd sound better to say that she failed, right? Failure sounds a lot better than defeated. See, defeated shows you your opposition. Opposition shows you're anti-American. Anti-American means you ain't got no business getting voted for. And that's exactly what happened with the Democratic establishment. And that's exactly what's going on right now. And that's why when everybody in the space leaves and they go to the store, you don't see no essentials in that store. And that's why when everybody in this space leaves, they see illegals coming into our communities left and right. And that's why when everyone leaves the space, they see reparations is getting all across the board by everyone who is a Democrat. Shut down, checkmate, G-check. We got to get to some of the more speakers. You can stay on the stage if you want to, but I can't continue this debate or, this slaughter any further because, I won in such great fashion. I'm the Democratic Slayer. I am Black Alpha Network, the extraordinary Democratic slaughterer. I put Democrats to task and I take them out of business the same way that Black Americans are going to take them out of business and the plantation is left. Only thing they need to be worrying about right now is that eviction notice on that plantation because it's going down. You can stay on the panel. You can get, your hand up and we'll get back to you. But I want to spin this around to my co-hosts and some of the speakers because this slaughter doesn't need to happen anymore. 12 rounds, we didn't even make it. We got to about the second round and I knocked out. But that's okay, man. There'll be another space for somebody else, and I'm sure that you'll be able to put up a good, word salad debate with them. But you just can't do it with me. Certified all the time. My brother Sage is in the building. My brother Afro Elite is in the building. The Vanguard is here, and I want to have these two distinguished gentlemen come up here and speak as this distinguished gentleman myself is going to bask in my glory of, completely destroying Democrat number 3,000. I'm here all week, folks. Don't forget to tip your waiter. Sage, how's it going up there in NYC, brother? Afro Elite, how's it going in Chicago? We're going to get to the hands. Anybody else who wants to come on up because we are in the building. Sage, talk to me, brother.
New York. Okay. Afro, go ahead. Park Avenue, stay right here because I want to talk to you. Afro, how's everything with you, big bro? How's everything in Chicago?
Well, it's a struggle, brother, but we out here hustling. We making it happen. There's we about to make some moves. I don't want to put any dates on it yet because we putting some finishing touches on everything. So when there's things to be announced, which will be coming soon, I will announce them. to the people. So I'll let you all know about that. But the family in Chicago, we out here getting stuff done. We out here handling business as we should be. But due to the Biden administration, because we're doing a lot of damage control, I wasn't able to hear. The space is actually acting a little weird. Every time I close the phone or whatever the case, can't hear anything. But I was able to hear a little bit of what you said. I want to say one thing about people who argue on the Democrats' behalf, and they act as if they're not shields for the Democrats. These are the people.
This is the most pathetic space. It's people.
Okay, hold on. No, hey, I didn't interrupt you. Hey, I didn't interrupt.
They want to hear them.
Is Afro a co-host?
Yeah, no, it's all good. Yeah, we got Afro in here. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Y'all, Afro, I'm going to let you get back. He had to say a little Democratic shit. He had to throw a couple of Kamala Harris's collard greens at us and stuff, man, but that shit don't stick. He running right now. He wobbling, y'all. He wobbling. If anybody sees on the news that, a Democratic shield is MIA and you don't see him for a while, it's that guy right there. He just got served and he going to have to live with it. He going to go cry in the car. But you know what I'm saying? That's what happens when you come against FBA. So, it's FBA all day, certified all the goddamn time. Democratic shields going down for the count. So peace the hell out, homeboy. Get out of here and go on Kamala Harris. Checkmate. Afro, speak on it.
I'm going to say this is the level of maturity, or the lack thereof of maturity, by the Harris supporters. Now, on YouTube, I was doing a video. It got shut down, but I was able to get my point across before they shut the live stream down, about the maturity and the information that you get from the Harris supporters. And so you all know, I believe that every single black person, especially Foundation Black American, needs to be completely independent. Needs to be, okay? I think that we should all view politics in the same light, and you should judge each of them by the individual basis. That's how I do it. That's how I think it should be done, but I can't tell people what to do. But I noticed something very particular when it comes to the Democratic supporters, the lack of maturity from them. I noticed the lack of maturity from them. I noticed the childishness of them. I noticed the gaslighting that they do. I noticed when you bring up a problem, when you tell Trump supporters, which I'm not, but if you tell Trump supporters about a problem that you believe Trump has done, Trump supporters, there's a lot of them who say, yeah, I don't like what Trump did about that, and I think he messed up, and I think he can be a little bit immature sometimes. They'll admit faults in Trump. Kamala supporters don't admit any faults with her or Biden. If you force them to do it, they'll go over it a million miles an hour, just like immigration, which is one of the biggest crises in America to date. But they'll go over it a million miles an hour, and then they'll be all like, well, I mean, I guess they kind of didn't do as well. They won't hold them accountable fully. They kind of messed up a little bit. They'll belittle it. They'll kind of, they could have did better with that. But January 6th, though, and then they'll try to go right back to blaming Republicans for stuff. They'll go right back to that. So this shows the lack of integrity. That's number one. I use that word often because I really want to reflect on the lack of integrity when it comes to solving these issues. These are issues everyday people have to deal with. Inflation, immigration, all right? These are all of these major issues. The cost of everything is hurting everybody in every way. Nobody is thriving in this economy at all. The same economy.
That's cat.
The same economy that Kamala said was working. She and Biden for years said Bidenomics is working. Now nobody's saying Bidenomics anymore. Okay, Roland Martin, a Tether, Joy Reid, Tether, all of these people were out here for years telling you guys that Bidenomics is working, and you guys are just lying about the economy. Now that we're right before the election, now everybody wants to say the economy is bad, but it's not bad because of Kamala and Harris, Kamala and Biden. It's bad because of Trump.
Get it.
Hey, homeboy, don't interrupt. Don't interrupt, homeboy. Don't interrupt.
I'm gonna lay in there. I'm pass off the stage.
Okay. First of all, I wanna apologize to the room. New York is looking real bad. We looking real bad today. There was a lot of fallacies that first brother said. A lot of fallacies. I'm a little sad that he's not on stage anymore, but there was a lot of fallacies that brother said when he spoke up earlier. I would like to introduce myself to you, brother. You asked a question when I first came into the room. Where were all the people that were protesting during the George Floyd uprisings? Well, nice to meet you. My name is Sage. There's videos out of me in New York. There's photos of me in New York, unbeknownst to me, of course. And I'm well documented to have been out there, sir, during that time. And I'm watching this Daniel Penny situation real closely to see if a sequel should happen. But regardless of that, we are the people that stood up in 2020. We are the people that stood up in 1965. We are the people that stood up in 1865. Okay? So I don't understand where that questioning is coming from. A simple question was asked to you about immigration. You said that he said that he lived in the city. I would like to know where. And you said that you lived in the city near illegal migrant shelter. And my question is, and I think Brother Black Alpha was asking you this. Yeah, the Democrats allowed them in, but what do you think should happen? What are you going to do about all these illegal immigrants that are running around in New York City? And you never answered that question. You said they dropped the ball. Okay, what should happen now as a result of them allowing hundreds of thousands of people into New York City, into Chicago, into LA, all of these cities all throughout the nations that what is the other one? Colorado, I think it is. Obviously that's not a city, it's a state. Relax. All of these different states that have these illegals, what should be done? I want to start the room off like this. And Brother Black and Afro, y'all can come off y'all mics for a second because I want to ask y'all a question. I'm gonna start with you, Afro. Afro, do you support Donald Trump?
No.
Okay. Brother Black, do you support Donald Trump?
No.
Okay. Now that we got that out the way, Afro, do you support Kamala Harris?
Hell no.
Brother Black, do you support Kamala Harris?
Hell to the no.
Okay. Now, for all the people, Charlie Wilson, you gonna get up here in a second, brother. Don't worry about it. You gonna get your ass up in a second since you want to come off your mic. We're gonna get you up here in a second. Now our votes, if I'm not mistaken, that means your vote is up for sale, correct?
Cash money.
Okay, to the highest bidder. Now, what is your candidate if you're vouching for the Democrats, which clearly you are? And I don't necessarily believe that you are foundational to this land. You just don't even talk like it. And I don't even think you're from New York, by the way you talk. But again, he's not up here, so I don't want to beat up on the brother too bad. But I have questions, brother. So if you are in the room and you want to get back up, maybe later on, me and you can have a conversation because I don't know what you're seeing out here in the city that I live in that I'm not seeing. So with that being said, there's a lot of speakers that's been waiting. Yeah, Brother Black, let's get to Sapia. I'm sorry from butchering your name. Aratusasi, let's get to you. It's on you.
Hey, thanks, Sage, and shalom to yourself, brother Alpha and Afro Elite. I think these, especially, and I have to get on my people first. FBAs who delve in this book because that gentleman was acting like we don't have our own apparatus that we can turn to for reliable information. I mean, you have brothers like yourself, Afro, Alpha, other people that have been doing this for years. And, you have people like Park Avenue who will come up here and think that we still turn to MSDNC. I stole that from Alpha, by the way, MSDNC or CNN or even Fox for that matter, for our news, info, and current events. I mean, we kind of, feed off each other. We've closed our ranks and people like him still hadn't got the memo and they're lost in the sauce. And it's people like him that would say, protect Black women, which I am a very staunch advocate of because I got a daughter, I got a girl, I got a mother, and I got a sister. So yes, support and protect Black women. However, where was he when everybody was dogpiling on Janet And also a newer thing that happened to where I almost got my account suspended for when they came dogpiling on Aaliyah talking about she's related to Kamala Harris. And I went calling all kinds of women, maybe even black women, out of their names, the 5-letter B word, for trying to stick up and say that, well, how do you know that she's not? Do you understand the word heritage? Heritage ain't got a goddamn thing to do with genetics, especially with the way they put it. I mean, heritage is more of your upbringing and where you're born at. It doesn't necessarily dictate what you are. And I don't want to get too far into that.
I got a question for you, brother. What part of Aaliyah was Indian or Jamaican?
No. What they're trying to say is that her father is Jamaican, and I had to correct her.
Jamaican. Where did they get that?
Her stepfather's Jamaican, not her father.
That got nothing to do with her. Thank you, brother.
Exactly. That's my whole point, is that they were trying to tie Aaliyah in with being Caribbean and then trying to tie that last cog in, or that plug in, with her possibly being related to Kamala Harris, which it pissed me off because Aaliyah is like one of my all-time female vocalists ever, even though, I have about 8 years on her, but I haven't heard anyone with a voice like hers. And I'm not, disparaging from any of our other sisters like Whitney Houston, peace be up on her, or Donna Summer, or any other people. I mean, Aaliyah just had a special place in my heart.
Now hold on there, brother. Now hold on there. Hold on. Don't go that far. Don't go that far. Okay. Don't bring up Whitney now. Don't go that far. Go ahead.
Okay, I got you. Fair enough, brother. But yeah, I mean, so I'm just watching all the disrespect that these Democrats are throwing at us. And even my girl, she sometimes asks, why are you so hard on the Democrats? Which she's neutral. She's stark neutral. She just can't understand why, me and a lot of us are just dogpiling on the Democrats. And because for one, we know where we stand with the right. And then for two, the right ain't even coming at us like that. I don't care if you talk about, Candace Owens or morons like Danny Glover and Herschel Walker. They are FBA, but the way they talk greasy about, getting policy set for us and getting reparations for us, I don't appreciate that. But the Republicans, they kind of stay in their position. The Democrats are the ones that come over here with collard greens in a bathtub, jumping on Janet Jackson because Janet Jackson told the truth, which, by the way, is rumored that she's supporting Donald Trump. And that's her, I mean, my slogan, if you're going to vote, is vote against blue, no matter who. So when people ask me, does that mean get MAGA back into it? Well, when I say no matter who, MAGA's part of no matter who, as long as it ain't you, Mr. Blue. So that's my stance on it. Like, I hate the Democratic Party. I hate Democrats. I hate liberals. I mean, I hate to be, blindly aiming my contempt and disdain for people that I don't know. But
hey, no, let me jump in, bro. Let me jump in. Appreciate. Hey, you cooking good stuff right there, and that's exactly what it is. People got to understand. Whenever they come at you and say you sound like a MAGA supporter, they sound like this. Man, simply tell them. And if I was, what? Did any of y'all see when they asked Mike Tyson? I think Mike Tyson was on like Ebro, one of them clowns or whatever, and they was talking about him vote for Donald Trump. And Mike Tyson said, "And what's he gonna do about it?" We got to get to the point politically, family, where the shaming don't work. I don't give a damn who you vote for. Do not allow the Democratic Party to come and shame you for doing what you feel that you want to do. That's it, bottom line. Because this main thing where they want to pull out the goddamn whip and crack it on black folks who got differences of opinion or we don't want to be on the plantation, family, that's extended slavery. That's extended slavery. And I've already done it before on the Black Alpha Network. I broke down all the parallels and how you can draw a direct line from slavery on the plantation back in the old days to right now, the Democratic Party. Think about it. Slavery was what? Black folks did all the hard labor, got nothing in return. What is voting Democrat? You do all the goddamn hard labor, you get nothing in return. Everybody else benefits off of your vote. It's the same way everybody benefited from you picking goddamn cotton. It's the same exact thing. So if somebody is voting against blue, no matter who, and you feel that you want to vote for Donald Trump, then do whatever the hell you choose. Don't allow no goddamn slave-minded Democrat bootlick to try to shame you in any way, shape, form, or fashion. To hell with them. If you feel like you want to vote to close them goddamn borders, do that. Because in their mind, in their future, the Democrats' project 2050 is us voting until all the illegals are here and we can't vote no more. And let me tell you something, ain't nobody gonna feel sorry for you when it happens. They're going to move in every single Julio Sanchez in the world. And then the next thing you know, we're going to be out the paint. So if you want to vote for Donald Trump to close the borders, you want to vote for Donald Trump because he's funny, I don't give a damn. You just make sure that you do not vote for somebody who has open policies against us while they smile in our face. Malcolm X told us way back in the day, some people come with a bite and a smile. Some people come with a bite in the ground. Y'all all heard. He said the most dangerous person is the liberal. And the Democratic plantation is full of liberals who give all the orders and then all the Democratic shields do all the jumping. And speaking of Democratic shields, I think we got one right here. This Uptown guy. Sage, Afro, this guy, you came off your mic now. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to you. You can go ahead and speak and say what you want to say, and then my brothers can respond. I already did my Democratic roasting today. So I'm gonna go ahead and let my brothers do the roasting. The floor is yours.
Speaking about that needs to be done, right?
First off, hold on. Before you go any further, watch the language. Don't curse. This is being recorded. But go ahead and say what you got to say.
Speaking about things that need to be done, okay? And if we're going back about things and accomplishments, I don't know anywhere or any place that I see FBA sign off on anything yet to this date. That's number one. Number two, when it was a comprehensive, multiple times at that, deal on the table for the wall, the person that you are voting with to vote against blue and you do what you want to do were people that were MAGA supporters and GOP. They didn't want at any cost, they didn't even want to come to the table and renegotiate. They didn't want to say, no, we don't want that, we want this. They said no, hands down. So if we're going to talk about Democrats, you feel how you feel, you got to talk about the people that actually stopped the order if it was in our hands. And then on top of that, right, we had to make just do to deal with the problems that was where the people were sent from down south, were sent from out of state, were sent to California. Well, some of them were already in California. That's that. Then we're talking about the economy. To this date, the economy is doing very, very well, right? Now, the problem is, how are you defining it? Because if you're defining it by regular statistics, anybody's statistics, doing great. If you're defining it by your own personal statistics that I don't understand, you may need to define that.
Okay,
You may need to define. Hold on, brother. Hold on, brother. Hold on. I'm gonna give it to you. Hold on. I'm gonna give it right back.
Uptown, it doesn't work like that, sir. What part of New York are you from, sir? That's what I wanted to ask you. What part of New York are you from?
Let me finish my spill. You cut me off.
Sir, answer the question, sir, and then you can finish your spiel. What part of New York are you from?
Listen, you.
You're not muted. Go ahead.
Come on, Uncle Charlie.
The floor is yours. What part of New York? Go ahead.
Yo, so we're doing your spill. I'm doing my spill. Then I'm gonna answer your question.
Uncle Charlie, it doesn't work like that.
All right, then I'm out. You keep the you want because y'all not.
Okay. So
then be out, homie. And then on your way out, stop at the barber and get that line up, homie, because it looked like your hairline is doing the moonwalk. How about that? Checkmate. Listen, Sage, before you cook, brother, before you cook, let me just frame this for everybody listening, okay? Since we're giving a categorical breakdown of Democratic shield BS, okay? First off, let me say this. The brother couldn't even answer where he's from, so that's already the major red flag, okay? I'm gonna get to it, and I'm gonna tell you where I'm from. I'm gonna tell you in 10 minutes. After that doing spill, I'm gonna tell you now. Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you to get them goddamn clippers, okay, and line that hair up. This is what they do, family. They won't even acknowledge where they're from because they know that we pulling paperwork. And he knows that paperwork is super, super dirty. If your paperwork ain't dirty, then you gonna easily tell us where you from. Okay, but where we know for a fact is that no matter where he's at, he's on that Democratic Shield plantation. Let me make this clear about that bill that they always do. He talks about the immigration bill that they say that Donald Trump tried to. First off, how can Donald Trump a bill when he's not even a politician right now? All right, BS. Then they say that the bill needed to even be made. Why the bill need to be made? Because Joe Biden and Kamala Harris have been in office for almost 4 years. It shouldn't even get to the point where they have to make the bill. Why do they have to put that on the table? Because they effed up immigration and allowed, I'm hearing close to 25, 30 illegals in. They say it's 11, then they say it's 22. That's off the books. Let me tell you something. From the people I know on the border, it is probably about 25 million people in 3 years. Y'all do the simple math of what happens if Kamala wins. Next part, they try to tell us that Donald Trump bill and this, that, and the other thing. That bill was a whole bunch of incentives and a whole bunch of clauses that would have incentivized 11 million illegals. So if they would have signed that bill, that means soon as the pen went to the pad, 11 million people would have been incentivized to be citizens here in the United States of America. And let's be real, every time the Democrats talk about immigration, I want you to go ahead and triple or quadruple that. So that's why Ron DeSantis in Florida, he called it out. Also, you've seen Donald Trump call it out, but the Democrats don't want to acknowledge that. What you're seeing with these people, family, is their failure to acknowledge all the hardships and all of the violations and rule breaking and just straight up criminality of illegal immigrants. Because remember, illegal immigrants. Illegal means crime. So that means by de facto, if you're an illegal immigrant, then you're already a criminal when you're here in America. The Democrats don't care. They don't give a damn. They are all absolutely 100% for it. And they said that by their own manifesto. They want millions, millions, and millions more of illegals to come to America. I don't give a what any Democratic Shield says. They're only trying to tell you that so you be blind enough to go vote. But if you vote as a black person for the Democratic Party, then you're voting for your own replacement. And that's by every single metric out there. That bill that they talk about was basically a bill that they would have slid in a bunch of illegal immigrants into the country. And when Donald Trump shot it down, then they blamed Trump. So think about it, y'all. The fact that they are blaming Trump, who wanted to build the wall, who says they're going to carry out the biggest mass deportation in American history. That sounds good to me. That sounds real goddamn good to me. The fact that they're so hell-bent on shaming him for wanting to do that, doesn't that mean that they 100% unequivocally support immigration? Read between the lines, people. The Democrats are all for mass illegal immigration and not getting caught doing it. That's all it is. Bring in Julio, don't get caught. Bring in Mr. Sanchez, don't get caught. Bring in Mrs. Estrada, don't get caught. And then not to mention, those are people who are just coming to the border in the South. They're flying in people. Illegal immigration in the United States of America is a massive apparatus that goes all the way to the United Nations, okay? It is Miles for Migrants in the IOM, and they're flying people in everywhere. Why you think they always want to show you the illegal immigrants coming from Venezuela and all there? Y'all notice something y'all see about these folks nowadays? Let's talk the 2024 illegal immigrant. He looked just like the 2023 illegal immigrant. These folks is coming over here with three-piece suits on. They got goddamn Nikes that ain't even out yet. They got the Jordans that don't come out until the year 2026. You think these folks are some sad, bad little illegals who just can't get things done in their homeland and they're fleeing persecution? Or do you think the Democratic Party, by their own admission, by their own statistics, by what you see with your own eyes, have put together a mass illegal immigration plan to flood the United States of America with anybody out there who is willing to come and to replace Black Americans in the process? Every single American citizen sees it. That's why immigration is the number one issue facing most people. Inflation and immigration, and a lot of the inflation has to do with immigrants because they're coming here and they're being imported and they're being inserted into the economy for no goddamn reason other than Mrs. Borders are, Kamala Harris is for it. So basically, when a Democrat tells you something about illegal immigration, they're lying. They support it and they facilitate it and they put their seal of approval on it. And that's why brothers and sisters have been calling it out. Let me be real. Everybody calling out mass immigration is because of the Black grassroots. Foundational Black Americans, we're the ones who were calling this out all through social media, going from state to state, city to city, Chicago, New York. We're the ones who were filming, recording, putting out. Look at all the videos you see about illegal immigrants. 9 times out of 10, it's a Black American who is exposing it. And now folks are picking up on it. Now Latinos are against illegal immigration, but they're all taking our lead. We are the ones who've been leading this main resistance to illegal immigration. We've been doing it right here on the Black Alpha Network for 4 years. Videos that you still ain't seen on MSNBC. So don't let these people act like they ain't knowing what's going on. Kamala Harris just did 5 interviews, and not one interview did they bring up immigration. When's the last time Roland Martin brought it up? Or Joy Reid? Does MSNBC ever talk about immigration? Did they just breeze over it the other night at the vice president debate? They don't want to talk about illegal immigration because they understand that the jig is up, they're exposed, and when we don't vote for the Democrats, that $1 trillion industry of illegal immigrants is all going out the window, and they better get a refund. Sage and Afro, back to y'all, and y'all can send it to whoever y'all want to get to, but let's continue to expose, and we ain't standing for the lies. The Democratic plantation got about 30 days.
Okay.
I want to say something real quick.
Oh, go ahead, bro.
Okay. The bill that they're referring to, that bipartisan bill, first off, it did have some bipartisan support. Every single Republican was not in on it, or whatever the case is. They make it seem like all the Republicans, all the Democrats, everybody in Congress fully agreed until Donald Trump made a damn phone call, and then every single Republican backed out. That's just not what happened. The bill, for you guys to know, is named S4161. It's the Border Act of 2024. In that bill, it's very it talks about, the crisis going on and all that stuff. But in that bill, if you notice, and this to piggyback off of what our brother Black Alpha had said, there's nothing about deportation in the bill. Yeah, it does send more aid to the border. It does send more people, workers to the border, more federal money to the border and all that stuff. It closes it up. But you already let 20 million people over here. So you letting them over here, and you're not having a bill that has mandatory deportation of the people you've let over for the last few years. We already talked about Venezuelan gangs taking over apartment complexes in Colorado, other crimes going on, fentanyl running rapid, all this human trafficking and all this stuff, drug trafficking, all that stuff going on. You're not going to deport these people. The bill has absolutely nothing to do with deportation. So if that bill was signed, if we're going to be honest, that bill would have allowed all of the 20 million illegals to stay here. So it's actually a good thing that that bill wasn't signed, because not only do we need the border to be closed, we also need them gone. They need to go. Because what the ultimate plan was to say, okay, well, we're going to put this right here, and then next thing, we're going to nationalize all of them. We're going to give them an economic floor, going to give them a job, a good job, a house, all of that stuff. So no, they all need to go. And that's the thing. When they talk about the bill, they don't really talk about the details of the bill.
Okay, 60 seconds, and I'm going to throw it to you, Mark, because I know you've been up here for a while. The reason why I want to clear this out. The reason why I asked earlier about what we're going to do about the immigrants that's already here, I wanted that question answered. And I think that's what Black Alpha was getting to when he asked that Park Avenue dude, what's going to happen? What do you feel about immigration that's already here? So he refused to answer that question. Now, the reason why I asked that last dude, Charlie Wilson, what part of New York he's from. Y'all have to understand something about New York now. And I want to low key, because again, I can't speak for Chicago. I know these two brothers up here can, but New York, it's like this, okay? You can always tell where a person's because he started speaking about the economy and finances. You can always tell where a person's finances is, where they live at in New York. And I'm not going to beat the brother up because I don't know the brother. But don't sit here and act like the economy is good and that you're doing good, brother, and you're walking in New York. In New York, it's a luxury to have a car. And last I heard from his spaces up here, you were walking, sir. So don't hit me with no economy when gas is up. Maybe you don't know anything about that. But again, when you're in New York, you just know these things. It's like living on the south side of Chicago and the north side, okay? You can kind of tell where you are economically, where you live at in New York.
true at all. There was a poll that showed 77% of Black people being interested or not even interested, but wanting reparations. And that 77% is probably lowballed because the other 33%, I'm assuming, is likely tethers or people who wouldn't qualify for reparations. So if only foundational Black Americans or American descendants of slaves were polled, it's probably even more closer in the 90s, possibly even 100%. But I also want to speak to how he stated that the economy is doing well and pointed to the stock market. And the stock market period is not a fair representation of the economy. A lot of businesses aren't even represented in the stock market. You know, public traded corporations or companies are represented. Small businesses have little to absolutely no representation in the stock market at all. Also, stock market ownership is concentrated to wealthy people. So that means that the performance of the stock market could only benefit a fraction of the population, and generally that's the wealthier population. Also, I do want to say that there's a focus, of course, on corporate profits. So no matter what a company generally has to do in order to show profit, whether that's doing layoffs, whether that's outsourcing, during economic downturns, they do these things in order to hide the underlying economic weaknesses domestically. And I'm actually a victim of this. I was laid off recently because, you know, they got their quarterly goal they got to hit. So at the end of the day, of course, stocks aren't a good measurement at all. And also, due to globalization, large companies generate a lot of their revenue from international markets. So their performance in the stock market may or likely reflect global rather than domestic economic conditions. And another thing, to keep going on about this, but generally, investors are thinking about the future. So there's a lag. So they're thinking like right now, we're making moves in the market right now, possibly based upon maybe Trump winning the election or something going on even years from now. So there's generally a lagging or how can I put it, a forward-looking indicator that doesn't align with present conditions. And so I'll just say that and just land there.
Thank you so much for your words, sisters. Truly appreciate it. Okay, I'm not going to try it again. Aratis, I see this on you. Please raise your hands too if you want to speak. If not, then we're going to suggest that you want to drop down or so. Go ahead, brother.
Thank you again, Sage. And as far as the stock market thing,
be careful with that Whitney comparison, brother. Be careful.
Oh yeah.
That's another space. Go ahead.
I mean, I thought that through, and I owe you all, the family of Whitney and Whitney herself, an apology. Please be up on her. I mean, you know, she is a beautiful voice, and you know, was beautiful energy that was lost. So I agree with you 100%. But look at people keep talking about the stock market thing, and it's a valid conversation. I get it, but you know, the Most High has a way of revealing the fallacy and how false something is or can be, because you know that Texas just opened up they launched their own stock market either today or yesterday, and it is completely separate from any of the NASDAQ, NICE, S&Ps, Dow. It is completely independent of those. And from what I understand, their stock market is actually doing pretty well. In fact, better than all of these other ones up there out east combined. And, you know, we could go into, you know, assumptions of what that is really meaning, or, you know, what is leading up to, because that's a whole completely different conversation as well. But the one thing I do need to say about these shields is how you guys are constantly exposing them. Like every day it's a new shield that's, you know, being turned out from up under a rock, and you're seeing all the trash, you know, that comes with them. I mean, you know, we can, you know, and have talked about roly-poly, you know, beep, beep, you know, me and my Apple iPad, you know, we've talked about that ad nauseum. And some of these other people, Van Jones, these Democratic shields are kind of, I mean, right now they kind of are desperate. I mean, with all the things that we've highlighted about them. But the one thing that I do think that needs to be stated, and Black Alpha, he kind of said those words for me. Whatever direction that we choose to go in, for one, it can't be Democrat, and we have to say it with our chest. Me, I'm stark neutral. I'm voting for Kanye West. I'm voting for the couch. I'm voting for the cockroach in the corner. I mean, that Donald Trump, the Republicans hadn't done enough to convince me why we should vote for him or anyone on that side. And as far as these liberals, I am sick and tired of them saying that, Trump, right wing, far right, alt right. Okay, the point is you should focus on yourself and focus on what you're going to do to get the black vote, number one. Number two, challenge any Democratic shield. I think Black Alpha's done it, or Afro Elite. It was one of those two brothers that's done it, because I was in the live when it happened. The quickest way to shut them up is to say, okay, convince the FBA why we should give you our vote without mentioning Trump, without mentioning MAGA, without mentioning Republican, without mentioning right wing. Give us a reason to vote for you. And they really can't.
I think that's their problem. They'll tell you what the Republicans aren't doing, but they're not telling you what the Democrats are doing for you. And I think that's always been an issue when it comes to these Democrats. As long as you can blame the Republicans, saying, oh, look what Roland Martin did the other day. Well, at least, you're going to get a hearing for reparations with Kamala Harris. They ain't even going to hear you. No, you're not getting anything. We're not getting anything on both sides, and that's the issue. We need something to vote for instead of just voting against Donald Trump. Give me something to vote for, and I think that's what we want.
No, Sage, I have to disagree with you a little bit. Kamala does want to give us reparations. She wants to give us Prozac and Zoloft and Klonopin. I just had to say that.
That ain't reparations at all. But let's be honest here. Let's keep this real here. To some of these Democratic shields, you know what real reparations are? Illegal immigration, prostitution. That's reparations. Prostitution from illegal immigrants. That's their damn reparations. And with that being said, Black, I'm gonna send it to you.
Man, y'all nailed that. That's perfect. Absolutely. You guys all made a point. Real good points. I'm going to elaborate on some of the points that y'all made. First and foremost, y'all absolutely right. Reparations has them shook to the point where they've pivoted now. And be honest with y'all, she's actually talking about giving us reparations in the form of therapy. Remember that now. She said that 2 times. She said she wants us to have some type of therapy reparations. And what that really is, family, is giving our money to somebody else. And then for us, they can say, well, we tried. Now the reparations conversation has gotten to the 4th quarter, and it's going to go into this area where they're going to actually try to present us some bullshit reparations that they can pass off as reparations, and then they can say, at least we did it. See, they tried to the bills. We was on them about that. They tried to pivot. We was on them about that. Every corner they turn, we right there. We are so politically savvy. Don't let nobody tell you that we ain't got our business together. Our business is stronger than ever. We on game. We on point. We on code. So now they're going to try to do what I always say. They'll present a bill just to say they tried the bill. That's why Ink Kroger's running around here right now, and they're trying to present to everybody reparations for a race of people. Now, they know damn well it'll get shot down that way, but they're doing that on purpose because they can say, we tried. And eventually, they're going to try to give Black Americans some BS bill, and they're going to say it's reparations, and they're going to say, well, all right, y'all got what y'all want, hoping that the reparations conversation will go away. That's why we got to stay on point, and we got to go to all these task force hearings, and we got to be everywhere. I said in my speech in Washington, D.C. at the Rally for Reparations, y'all check that out, FBAstream.com. My brother Afro, he gave a great speech as well. And we both alluded to it, that the main thing that they want to do in this generation, in this era, is they want to pivot our attention somewhere else because they can't stop it. The energy is too strong. We're in a different stratosphere right now, y'all. The Africans, Americans, and the people of color, that shit is gone. What would happen if somebody came in this space right now and said they a POC? We're going to run them out. What if somebody come in and said, well, as an African-American minority, we're going to run them out? We have one by one went down the list and got rid of every single thing that they put on our shoulders to try to, pivot our energy, take us somewhere else. And that's the beauty of this generation. And we're all doing it. That's why we got to stay on code. Your timelines that you see right now, all of y'all, I look at all y'all timelines, y'all got more information about what's going on in the real world than you'll ever see on television. Why you think Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, John Kerry, Hillary Clinton, they're all running around right now talking about censoring the internet? You don't hear Donald Trump talking about censoring the internet. Matter of fact, the whole free speech conversation has done a turn. The Republicans are out here talking about having everybody say what they want to say, having everybody with free speech. It's the Democrats that you see talking about censoring the internet. Kamala Harris straight up said it. She said, you have to be penalized on social media. And they're trying to pass it off as speech and all that. No, what it really is when you come out here and say Kamala Harris's grandma don't look like who they say is Kamala Harris's grandma, she want to shut that down. When you come out here and you say Kamala Harris's husband is smacking around Karens and he done had him some goddamn domestic assault charges and he done had him a baby aborted, they want to shut that down. They're used to the days where they can do and they can say anything, put that stuff on the main screen, and then everybody believed it. There's a counter effect right now. You know what I mean? We're out here really pushing a real narrative. And to be honest with you, we're stronger in the grassroots than the mainstream is. And they spend trillions of dollars. It just lets you know they can outspend you. They can't outwork you, because what we're doing is organic. What we're doing is really from the people. What we're doing really represents everyday average Americans. And that's the difference between this generation and previous generations. And that's why they're afraid. They know goddamn well they don't want to talk about immigration. I challenge everyone in this space. I want all of you guys right now to think about what you see on your social media timelines with immigration, and then compare that to what you see on national television. It ain't even close. National television, they act like illegal immigration don't exist. Then you turn on your goddamn timeline, you'll see 30,000 people jumping over a goddamn fence. There ain't no coincidence that that's happening. There's not that big of a gap in between reality and what they telling us. They don't want to talk about anything in terms of illegal immigration. It's us in the grassroots who have made that a main issue. You go back 12, 20 years ago, and if you were to ask anybody in 2001, 2002, 2006, you go ask them about reparations. And if they ever thought reparations would be an actual question for presidential candidates, they would have said, hell no. It is now. If you would have went and told them all about illegal immigration and the way it was turning out, they used to think, oh no, them people, man, there's not that many of them. Mark Carter, he made a point. You got illegal immigration that's been going on. This ain't nothing new. They've been bringing people into this country left and right. So you're talking about an influx of new illegals on top of all the old illegals. And then the ones they're trying to bring here tomorrow, which they've documented. And we are out here destroying democratic shields. All of their talking points are being completely obliterated. They cannot stand in the paint next to us. We have went through every single talking point. When was the last time you heard somebody in this election say, vote because your ancestors died for you to have a right? We got rid of that in 3 years? They were saying it all. Go back to 2020. In 2020, they had a whole gang of things that they was telling us. You don't even hear that no more. Y'all got to go, black votes matter? I ain't seen that. Black girl magic? I ain't seen that. They ain't got none of that going, y'all. Since they want to tell us who we need to vote for, what we need to do, close the borders. There's a good brother that follows me, and he always says this. He said, if two candidates aren't going to give me anything, then I'll take the one who's not going to give me anything with the borders closed. You take that however you want, but that's the way we standing on it. In good faith, I'm not mad if a brother votes for Donald Trump because he wants to keep them borders all the way up. I'm not mad at that, because at the end of the day, if you look at illegal immigration in the United States of America, black folks ain't got 3, 4, 5 elections. I say this all the time for anybody out there that's thinking about voting for Donald Trump just to close the border. See, the problem is black folks don't know how to vote for people without falling in love with them. You got to think independently, all right? Just because I cut a deal with the Dallas Cowboys don't mean I'm in love with the team. Don't mean I want to go hang out with Jerry Jones, all right? Just because I go sign with the Los Angeles Lakers don't mean that I'm in love with the team. It's all business. So if somebody feels that they want to go ahead and sit on the couch and vote couch, do you, because that hurts the Democrats. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to be on that couch. That's me. But if somebody also feels they want to go vote for Donald Trump because they tired of seeing illegals come here and replace us, good thing. Think about the next 4 years. If Kamala Harris wins, that means she is eligible for 4 years on top of another 4. That's 8. That means that she was just with Joe Biden for 4 previously. That's 12. There's an opportunity of having 12 years of Kamala Harris's open border policies. Think about that when you're saying, well, you know, Trump is out here saying that he wants to steal democracy. And what about January 6th? Sometimes you got to do what you got to do to win. And if that means hurting the Democratic Party is by voting for Donald Trump, do what you got to do. The new wave in America is black folks operating independently to where if I got to go to this side and negotiate, I got to go to that side and negotiate. I'm going to negotiate. Because guess what? The Latinos do. The goddamn Asians do. The Arabs do. The only race of people who belong to one party are black folks. Think about that. A Latino is 50-50. People are 50-50. You can be liberal. You can be conservative. You can be Republican. You can be Democrat. Asians, 50-50. Black folks are 90% for the Democratic Party. You will never, by metrics, get anything in this country voting for one party 90%. If people don't understand, I'll break it down even further. Imagine having a deal with Coca-Cola and Pepsi on the table. And you tell Coke, no matter what, I'm not signing with you. Pepsi gonna give your ass $2 because they don't have to give you nothing because you already gave it to them for free. And you ain't even getting a ride home. They ain't even give you no damn Uber home. That's what is reality for black Americans in the United States of America for the last 60 years until this generation. Trust me, both sides. And that go for Trump and that go for Kamala because we don't belong to nobody, but we're putting pressure on both sides of them and letting them know that we're going to come to the table, negotiating for ourselves, thinking about ourselves, only focus on ourselves. And if you do not give us what we demand, then we are going to sit it out, or we're going to take this goddamn money, vote, and we're going to go over to our own, and we're going to run our own candidates, and then you'll never get us back. We're going to get that FBA cash flow, and that's the bottom line. Let's keep it moving, y'all. I see Shay in here. I don't know if you, I know you was in here first. Can you hear me?
Hey, what's up, y'all? Yes, I can hear you. I just got back in the room. What's up, fam?
It's all good. The floor is yours, sister.
Okay, so I'm so glad that we waking up, but I hope we wake up by the masses because, you know, I personally been fighting this fight in New York for a lot of years. And a lot of times it's like I'm alone, to tell you the truth. And maybe fast forward it 10 years, everybody's opening their eyes. I mean, I'm open. My eyes are open now too. We ain't got no friends. It's us against, no, everybody against us. And now you spoke about the city council. I mean, I practically live at City Hall, the city council for the last 20 years, and I see the change. And I see they had to step on us to get to where they got. They didn't just pop up. It took some time, and it took our own people doing a lot of ass kissing and turning their heads. Because we used to make written statement complaints. I'm talking about the attorney general, whether it's the governor, whether it's the mayor, whether it's the U.S. inspectors. I'm telling you, whether it's the presidents, we done did all of that and then some. And so now I see the gratification of our eyes being closed like we sleeper cells. I'm telling you the truth. So I hope we wake up for real because this is no joke. Now I want to say this is happening in New York. This is all gravy. I'm watching them evicted people out of housing and shelters. Like it's not getting any better. And so I'm saying, look at all these homeless Black American people. They shutting off Black American people food stamps who don't get hardly nothing. And they giving everybody else $5,000 and they coming over here. How the f you get a driver's license usually with how many points you need? 6 points, birth certificate, proof of ID. How they get that? A driver's license and brand new cars. I'm just curious because you need a credit check and you need a credit history from what I can understand. So how they rolling around in Utica, all these places in the outskirts of New York with brand new cars. Please, somebody explain that to me. Okay? And I don't see, we're outraged, but I would like to see more of outrage. And I want to know what we're going to do about it. What's the plan? Where we got to show up tomorrow, y'all? Black Alpha, where we got to show up tomorrow? What papers we got to sign? What we got to sign. And as far as this reparation fake ass commission hearing they had, which was this week at Syracuse, I didn't get a chance to go, but I will be at the next one. Who the hell is following up and who is speaking for us and who is showing up by the masses boycotting their ass? Make sure, well, Ron Daniels, that's one thing, is not on the commission, but who else is on the commission? What we doing? Where we at? Where we going? Peace.
Much respect, sister. Much respect. Much respect. Everywhere, all 50 states. That's where we got to go to. We got to show up and all that. I'm loving it because I remember 2020, y'all, when black folks in the grassroots were saying things and it didn't really get that work right. Now I'm loving that we swing in this election. This election going to be swung in our favor. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. It's already happening. All you got to do is look around. I tell people our victories don't look like everybody else because everybody else gets benefits and handouts and all that. You feel me? Foundational Black Americans, we look different the way we win because we are different. We've always been different. We're exclusive. We're a rarity. And the way we put out our energy, it has the Republican Party shook. It has the Democratic Party shook. It has Donald Trump shook. And it has Kamala Harris shook. And that's exactly where you want to be. You want to have both sides shook up. That means you're in the middle. That means you're making wise decisions. That means you're going to lead with that bag. That is the way to do it. So certified salute to you, sister. I love seeing my brothers and sisters all through New York. I see my brothers and sisters in Chicago, out there on the West Coast. I'm down here in the South. It's lovely. Every time I turn on, my social medias, I see brothers and sisters putting in work. I see them really grinding. Y'all seen what we were just saying a minute ago, how they're going to try to give us a fake reparations bill. Think about that. Out in California, they just did that. I'll be remiss to even bring that up. Think about it. They completely that reparations bill with Gavin Newsom in the Black Caucus. And then a couple of days later, they just put out some fake reparations thing and say, oh, by the way, here you go. We did this. That's what I'm saying. They're going to try to present to us fake things, but it's on us to actually see it, identify it, expose it. And that's exactly what we're doing. Lovely, good time. Foundational Black Americans are on point. Don't let nobody tell you how defeated we are. We winning. We winning right now. We winning in style. And that's the way it is. Can't nobody compare. Let's keep it moving. My brother T-Way, it's all on you.
What's going on, fam? What's going on, family?
Certified salute.
Great conversation we having. I'm loving it. I just spent a few days in Miami, boy. I know we all know Miami is right there by the border, right next to Cuba. So it's expected. That bad boy is my first time in Miami. That bad boy is all Cuban. And they don't call them racist or segregated, but every employee, every grocery store employee, every cashier, every customer, every hotel worker, every valet parker, all Cuban. Everybody, and nobody bats an eye at that. We lost Cuba. It's crazy as right? And then when I did finally went to go see get some food. When I did finally go try to go get some food, right? I found me a black spot. I didn't know what it was. It was good. Called Theo's. Well, Theo's was good. Theo's real good. I was taking a pie myself. They had either Bernie Mac or Martin playing on the TV. He had Monday Night Football playing on the TV. He had the Dikembe Mutombo playing on the TV. I said, oh, that's what's up. This is cool right here. I said, hey, sister, where Theo from? Where he from? Oh, he from here. I said, yeah, but where he from? He from here. I said, where he? Oh, he Haitian. That's cool. The food was slapping. I ain't gonna lie. Theo's is good, y'all. Good vibes. But you see how they just assemble up under us so good, so well. But the food was good. Theo's was good. I say all that to say all this. The energy Shay had and the energy Mark Carter has. I read an article the other day. We need to update some of our language. It is not just illegal immigration. It is all immigration. And there's a very good handle y'all can follow called U.S. Tech Workers, okay? And he puts numbers behind illegal. I know we're all on the same page with this, but I'm going to bring it to the forefront right now. Illegal immigration is just as bad as legal immigration. And once it's said how they watered down their numbers, right? How the stock market numbers are really globalized numbers. For another example, that in dividends, and left the company likely, according to the FCC, if they were to be sued, non-secured debtors would mostly receive nothing in bankruptcy. So these guys manipulate the numbers and they paid them in dividends. They paid all the profit dividends. So FCC warned non-secured debtors in a case of bankruptcy will likely receive anything according to FCC. So the stock market is not a very good right now indicator of how well the companies are doing. But back to the whole immigration. We keep saying immigration, illegal immigration, but it's all immigration, legal and illegal. And if these past debates have only focused on illegal immigration, which we know, I don't know how the immigration conversation turned to illegal immigration or a border wall. What about the people who already been here, people who already made it past, and all these low-grade tech workers who are not qualified, these lying-ass nurses, and we all know, okay, because this legal immigration is a tool for them to usurp all the jobs out here, the collar jobs out here. So you see Trump ain't speaking on that. It brings joy to my heart to hear Mark Carter say he's not a Republican or a Democrat. I love it. You know what I'm saying? I know he's not. He's for his our people. But we all know it's either party. Because Trump is not saying illegal immigration. Republican Party is only on Trump's good side right now, talking about close the border. We all know the Republicans are just for immigration, just like the Democrats. And so we have this small window after Trump gets in office to actually put our people in position.
I appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. As we're saying, this immigration thing, no matter what people tell you, because one of the things that's been spoke about multiple times in this space is that immigration, just in general, but especially illegal immigration, is very detrimental. I want us to understand and get very crystal clear that nothing like this has ever happened, not just in American history. Nothing like this has ever happened in world history, where you have tens of millions of people illegally going into a country, invading a country, up all of the resources, and you have the government permitting that at the dismay of the citizens. This in world history, ever since human history has been recorded, this has never happened. This is something completely brand new. And the Democrats are telling you that if you have an issue with it, then that would make you racist. If you have an issue with it, then that is a reflection of your morality or lack thereof. They're telling you that the inflation is not that big of a problem. In fact, the economy is doing well. I can tell you one thing. The economy, wages are supposed to rise to meet the economy. To meet inflation. Inflation is always going to go up, and so is wages. That's why we don't get paid what we used to get paid in 1940, nor is inflation what it used to be in 1940. But the thing is that you have wages that has you have inflation that has completely outpaced the wages, wrapped circles around the wages. Now people are scraping by, counting pennies to do anything and get anything, yet you have illegals coming over here. They don't have, they're not sending their best people. Now, this was offensive to say at the time, but they're not sending their best people. It's not like they're coming over here and they're doctors and lawyers and politicians and businessmen. No, none of these people are. Most of these people are young and they're 20s to 40s, around that age. Most of the people are within that range. Most of these people don't speak any English, or at least not proficiently. Most of these people don't have any whatsoever that they can apply in America, except crime. And yet you have this government, the Democrats in specific, telling you that it's not a problem. They will sit up here and lie to your face about every single thing. Like I was telling the brother before, it shows a lack of integrity. That's number one, because whether you're getting paid or not, you're showing a lack of integrity, because nobody is that stupid. Nobody is that dumb. Nobody genuinely believes that the economy is doing great. Nobody genuinely believes that prices are great, because even Kamala's not saying that. I want you guys to understand. You got folks arguing that the economy is great, and Kamala's not even saying that anymore. She was saying that for 3 years. Now it's time for her to run. Now she's saying the economy is bad. But wait, here comes the twist. It's bad because of Trump. Because 4 years ago, almost, he made some bad decisions. Okay? I want you guys to keep in mind, this is the same administration that damn near shut down the entire economy. It was no working unless it was, and there was also some things, we're not going to say the word, y'all know what it is, some things that a lot of people didn't like, that was forced upon them by the Democrats, by Biden and Kamala. That was federal law that they forced that thing on everybody. So it was all of them. And a lot of people who refused lost their jobs or couldn't work in the government, couldn't go to school, couldn't get on a plane. All of that stuff was at the under their watch. And they tell you that they are the party of democracy. They are the party of choice. When every single time we try to get a choice, every single time we try to get a word, they shut that down. They shut down the third party. And I'm not sitting up there saying I'm an advocate for third party, but they're sitting up there saying that they shut down the third party more than the Republicans. The Republican Party does less to be an obstacle to the third party than the Democratic Party does. The Democratic Party shuts down any opposition, so much so that they're willing to shut down social media from the citizens to prevent misinformation. Which, if you ask them to define misinformation, misinformation is anything that don't make them look good. Misinformation is anything that makes it look like they're doing something wrong. That's why they want to shut this down, because everybody has phones now. Everybody can see when buses are coming over here, when they're committing crimes. Everybody can see that. People are looking at the prices of groceries now. People are looking at this stuff. People are looking at the disasters of the hurricane that they say FEMA doesn't have any money for. People are interviewing people on the street now. I've been one of them. I've interviewed illegals on the street. See, this is something that CNN is never going to do. NBC is never going to do. ABC is never going to do. See, none of the alphabet networks are going to do. This is something nobody's going to do. We're going to do that. I did that, and that completely debunked the whole narrative that they're not coming over. They're coming over here vetted. That's one. They're coming over here. They don't have jobs. That's two. And the police are maintaining them. That's three. All of those lies have been debunked because of us. This is why they want to shut down any and all forms of social media that they cannot vet, because they can't vet everybody. They say if we can't control what everybody says, nobody gets to say anything. It's just done. Nobody gets to say anything. So this is why it's so very important that you guys stay with us. You guys lock in. You guys follow us on YouTube, on Twitter, on our social media stuff, because this is where you're going to get the purest, untainted information. Because you can tell MSNBC's not going to do it with all the millions of dollars that they get, ABC, CNN. They're not going to do it. But we pick up a phone that costs, what, $1,000 or so, and we do more work, more reporting, giving you raw information than what they do with our studios that we got at the house, okay, with our laptops and stuff like that that we get, that we have to go to Best Buy and Walmart and Target and all that stuff and buy that stuff. We do more authentic journalism than what they do in CNN and CBS. That's the name of it. This is why, as a community, we have to be on the same code and lock in with each other. And don't miss out on anything, because what they're doing is they're shadow banning everything. If Kamala gets in the White House, we can forget about all of this, because there's going to be this mass shutdown on anything that makes them look bad at all. Because that's where their problem is coming from. I want you guys to take full credit for what you guys have been doing. Full credit, because it's the grassroots that's been causing her problems from the get-go. And we have not allowed her to have any traction from the get-go. Now you can see she's starting to trip over her own feet now. Now you can see every interview is kind of going in the garbage now. Now you see that because we have not allowed her to get any traction from the beginning. We've been on her bumper. Not Candace Owens, not Donald Trump, not the GOP. It's been us. It's been me, and it's been you. So I want to thank you, brothers and sisters, for the work that you guys have been doing.
Big facts, brother. Big facts. I got to add on to what my brother just put perfectly. Absolutely true. Who's really, really moving the needle? It is us. It is nobody else. See, you got to consistently say this, because we're always with a barrage of people who are real defeated and just kind of telling us what we need to do. We need to work harder and all that. Man, we doing it right, y'all. We doing it absolutely correct. Kamala Harris, when she's out here talking about the 1/8 rule and 20 acres and a mule, she don't want to answer them goddamn questions. She want a bunch of softball questions that nobody can really go for. The fact is that she's forced to have to answer those questions. She don't want to talk about reparations. Fact is that she's forced to have to talk about reparations. Joe Biden, whenever he wakes up from his 4-year nap, he has to answer questions if he can get through the whole goddamn sentence. Either way, they have to acknowledge the talking points that we're putting on the table. When Donald Trump goes and he says that Kamala Harris is an Indian woman, who he got that from, y'all? That comes from us. That's not a GOP conservative thing. None of that. That comes from us. He has been watching what we've been doing in the grassroots, and then he's been taking it to the political world, and he's using that as bait against Kamala Harris. But it goes to show you that we have been pushing the narrative. When Ann Coulter comes out and she says foundational Black Americans, come on. 4 years ago, y'all know goddamn well they tried to act like that term did not even exist. It does. And now it's on their front doorstep. Kamala Harris running around here with her 16th grandma that can't nobody account for. She don't want to have to answer that, but she has to. This is what political achievement looks like for Black Americans. We've been so long trying to do the political way that every other community does. They don't have to deal with anti-racism, okay, or anti-Black racism, anti-foundational Black American racism. They don't have to deal with none of that. So they can move separately from us. Those other groups all get accounted for. They get luxuries, they get benefits, they get resources. We have to fight for everything. So you can't sit there and say, well, I wish I could be like the rich kid in the suburbs. Well, my parents aren't rich and they don't live in the suburbs. So I got to grind a little differently. I got to move a little more strategic. I got to operate and function on a different level. That's the way we've been moving. And it took a long time for brothers and sisters to realize that, because there's always some Negro who comes around and says, man, you know what we need to do? We need to start moving like the Asians do because they get all of these benefits. Yeah, because they ain't got to deal with anti-Blackness. And the system works for them. The system works against us. So we got to defeat it in a different manner. And that's what we're doing. We do that by staying on code. We do that by networking. It's Black Alpha Network. We network together. We understand the way we all function. We understand the way that if my brothers and sisters in Chicago was putting in work, and then my brothers and sisters in Georgia down here putting in work, we can network together, see what works, exchange notes, and then we can come at these people, unite the city, step to the world. That's how we got to get down. And that's how we have been getting down. And that's why we've done more in the last 5 years than they did in the last 50. African-American, gone. Minority, people of color, gone. Vote blue, no matter who, gone. The political plantation days are over. From here on out, I've made it my goal is to try to get this lineage, heritage, and culture as political free agents. The day we become political free agents is the day that we really get things accomplished, and that's where we're stepping to. Black folks back in the day were political property. All right, there's a difference between being political property and a political free agent. Keep it going. Black Alpha Network, the man, certified. Yes. Let's keep it going. Gerard, it's on you.
Brother, damn, do we need more spaces like this? I was just in a space and I said it's time for us to leave the plantation. It's time for us to leave and go do some work. People always tell me, oh, well, what are you doing? You can't see what I'm doing because I'm in the field. I stay in the field. I make sure that I support everything Black I see. If I see an FBA, I support them. I buy Black businesses, make sure that go inside of places. Also, I relocated to Virginia. And what Virginia is doing, they have a new way to end this. They're getting rid of immigrant workers. Because, see, a lot of people say, oh, it's hatred toward. No, it's not hatred towards them. They're behind the scenes doing it, and we don't even know about it, because if you're not on the ground level, you don't know what the hell is going on. And I'm from New York. If you go to New York is a damn immigration city. There's barely any benefits for anyone that's not an immigrant, which is crazy. I thought this was America. They literally have their own towns with their people, their own language, and all this other kind of, and you got to be bilingual to get a job in America. Like, what the f is that going on? So I hope we keep this energy going, because they're going to try to figure out how to keep us down and manipulating us to get along with our enemy. Because I know this is a f***ed up thing to say, but I'm going to say it. If you side with immigration, that's the same as siding with your demise. That's what we're doing. These people are here to replace us because they're submissive.
and they're going to do the right thing and follow the rules and listen and all that other kind of stuff. We got to stop being listeners and be doers. Stop following these people. They don't give a damn about you. They showed you that in California. They showed you that in New York. They're going to show you that in every state. They care about immigration. They need them because we are no longer able to be over. We're finally picking up books and reading them. Remember? They didn't want us to read. There was a reason why they didn't want us to be educated and smart and do all these other things. It's about control. So I'm glad that we have stages like this where we get out of this idea that we just plantation Negro. We're not. We're educated, we're smart, and we can do this because we're going to get it back. It's only a matter of time and we headed in the right direction. That's what I wanted to say. And I hope this keeps up because like I say, I'm on the ground level, so I don't have no fame for the work that I do. I support the little man. You know, I go take my money and support the community and try to raise it up or whatever like that. I'm not looking for fame and fortune. But what I say is I love spaces like this. Keep doing what you're doing, Black Alpha. Thanks for letting me speak. And we almost there. We gonna win this. We all got to get out the plantation. And if we get on the code to lead a plantation, we can win this. We need to be on the same code. You're right. And I'll land with that.
Appreciate you, brother. Hey, you already know every time it's Black Alpha Network, it's going to be certified. That's how I do. Yes, indeed. Hey, we got to roll through these hands real quick because we're trying to get off here in the next few minutes and stuff. We got some things to attend to. I got to send it to my brother, Sir Funk, man. That's my brother right there. It's on you, my brother. Let's go to Seppa and then Mark Carter, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap this on up.
Yeah, thanks again. I'm going to drop after I say this, but I think what you and Afro Elite, I like when y'all had that space together. Well, not the space, but over on your YouTube channel, when y'all were doing that together, I couldn't come up and speak to y'all. And then y'all did a radio interview together. I can't remember who that was with, but that was fly. But I think, right.
For the culture?
Yeah. With that young lady, that sister that y'all was talking to.
Zizi.
Yeah, Zizi. Yes,
yeah, Zizi.
Yeah.
Very beautiful young lady. Yes.
I wish y'all would do something like that again and probably just give people, a chance to come up. I mean, and really, if you have to, make us put something in the pot, to come up and talk to y'all on those YouTube panels. I mean, it's not, I don't look at it as hustling nobody. I look at it as us, support. For one, we're supporting our own battery. We're powering our own battery. And then, it's just something that's going to further the movement because you and Black Alpha, and there are others, Jason Black, Professor Black too. A lot of y'all actually put your own gas and your own rubber soles, to the concrete. I mean, even I do, but I do it not nearly at the frequency of you fellas. But, I'm out there and people don't understand that there's money, whether with Patreons or, just ad-lib givers or whatever, to support the Black media. We're really supporting ourselves because whenever y'all get out there on the streets, whether it's at a rally or to protest something or to go to a hearing, you're carrying all of us on your shoulders. And if people can't see that and can't feel that they need to go ahead and put some skin in the game, if you're a fella, you go sit there and put $1,000 in some woman's thong that's dancing on the table for you. Or if you're a sister, you'll go put $500 or two, on top of your head and on your fingernails. But yet you feel that you can't give something, a small percentage of that, to the Black media. It don't cost nothing to be a Patreon. With Patreon, you can even dictate how much you get taken out of your bank account or credit card or debit card a month. Even if you feel that you just want to be an ad-lib giver, if you don't give but once or twice a month, give $100 or $50 each time you give something. Let's keep, this money train flowing for our brothers and sisters out there putting in this work, because without them, we don't have a voice. And I'll go ahead and shut my mouth and land there. Shalom to everyone.
Peace and love. Much certified salute, family. Certified salute. That's what it is, family. It's all about activism. You know what I'm saying? It's all about being an activist, being out there for real. You know what I'm saying? I represent the new breed of activism. My brother Afro Elite. We really are the two new fresh, this generation coming activists, and we be out here for real, putting in real work. But like my brother just said, we bring the people with us everywhere we go. I always call myself the people's champ because it's all about the people. Without the people, it don't mean nothing, y'all. So let's just keep this thing going, and we meet the opposition wherever they go. But wherever they see us, we G-check them and they bow down. Sir Funk, I got you back, brother. Are you there?
Hey. Y'all can hear me?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, family. We got to make it quick, bro, because I'm trying to get off real quick. So everybody, we'll make it.
This is the 30-second show. All right, so I had my little moment in Santa Monica last week. All the kids are coming back to school, and so they're all in college now, back in college now. So I'm down in Santa Monica. I walked into this Starbucks. I don't buy anything at Starbucks. They're one of my customers for my company, but I walked in there and there's this tall girl and this tall sister. They're juniors in political science at UCLA. They're canvassing, of course, for the fake sister Kamala Harris. And the black one is particularly, she's particularly enthused about the whole thing. And, I just froze up immediately. So they're wondering, they're trying to get me to register to vote, and they're talking about what the Democrats are going to do. And I immediately looked at the tall sister and I said, "Where's your family from?" And it turns out that she is an FBA. She was she's one of the handful of FBAs at an elite university like UCLA. She's not of the Tether variety at all. She said her parents were from Arkansas and Texas. I said, "Okay, so let me ask you something. Have you heard of the term foundational Black American?" And she said, "No." And so I started to explain what that was about and where she is from and who we are about. Then I said, Have you heard of any conversation about reparations? Again, this is 20-year-old girls who had no idea about reparations. They just, and at an elite school like UCLA, what they're studying, they had no contact with the idea of it. I didn't talk to the girl at all. I said, "Look, sis, let me tell you something right now. It's going to be a cold day in hell before I vote for a Democrat or Kamala Harris or anybody who's not going to do something specifically for us. You should feel the same way. Now, what I want you to do from here going forward," and I said, "Give me your phone." So I gave her, she actually gave me her phone because, I was kind of like, as insistent as I was still kind of humorous about it. And I went into YouTube and I put in Professor Black Truth and Jason Black, subscribe, and I put in Black Alpha Network, subscribe, and I put in a couple of other people, subscribe. I said, I want you to listen to them. I want you to understand who you are and where you are, and understand that the most important thing you can do now is is to pay attention to what matters to us, foundational Black Americans. Again, congratulations on being at UCLA. I hope you graduate and live a wonderful, long life. But your goal should be, first of all, Black uplift, which is reparations exclusively for the descendants, and 2, to destroy the Democratic Party. And you ladies have a nice day. And that was my that was my public service for what we did. Beyond that, I can only concur with everything that everyone else has said. As far as supporting you, of course, you will always be getting you'll always get money from me, Black Alpha, you and Marcel and everyone else in the FBA community who's putting in the work. And, I can only say that, we are headed in the right direction. What you people are saying, what we are about is actually spreading the code, and the code is taking. I mean, it might not be in, it might not be 100, but that's okay. We don't need everybody to be on code. We just need enough people to be on code. And what I had hoped by that moment that I had in that Starbucks is that, we've hooked another one in. And, again, appreciate what y'all do. Peace, power, reparations.
Much respect, family. Much respect. That's my brother right there, man. Certified salute, man. Certified salute. Always appreciate it. All right, y'all, we got to keep going. Freeman, it's on you. Freeman philosopher. Go ahead. Like 30 seconds, 60 seconds. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, my fault. Yeah, so I just want to reiterate that reparations is the good of the country and is good of us. So what's good for us is going to be good for the country ultimately. And the philosophy is that we should always strive for it. Everybody should strive for it. Although everyone is against it, it needs to be for us because we will restore this country back to the way that it should be.
Yes, indeed. Couldn't put it better, family. Much respect. All day, every day. All right, Mark Carter, to you, brother. About 30 seconds.
No, I'll pass it on to somebody else. Go ahead.
All right, much respect. All right, family. Much love and respect to everybody. Y'all know we done gave a clinical breakdown on how to regulate G-check Democratic shields across the board. We started off bringing the smoke. We're going to end bringing that same smoke. One thing I want to leave everybody with, though, right now, I got to make sure that I hammer this in. Y'all all, anybody in here listening right now, I want you to email me, BlackAlphaNetW1. We putting together a PSA about crippling the Democratic plantation. I need like a 30-second video. If you guys can do that, send it to me, BlackAlphaNetW1. You can see it. I'll put it up in, I'll post it on my Twitter. Y'all make sure y'all tap in. I need at least a 30-second, 60-second video. I'm going to get like 100 foundational Black Americans, Freeman, and I just want to make our voices heard. I remember the times when we spoke when nobody listened. I remember the times we spoke and they ignored us. They can't do that no goddamn more. When we speak, they shut the hell up and then they bow the hell down. So we're going to put together a massive PSA. I'm going to give it to all my brothers and sisters. It's going to go viral, digital. I've already spoke to my brother Marcel and some people. We're going to run it down here in the South, talk to my brothers up there in Chicago, New York, see if we can run it. But it's going to be a massive campaign, a PSA. All you got to do is tell me public service announcement. I'm leaving the Democratic Party or I'm not voting for the Democrats. I ain't rocking with the Democrats. Whatever you feel like saying, get it off your chest. Just make sure you bring them certified foundational Black American receipts and let them know the days of the Democratic Party, the days of the Republican Party, the days of being political property to anybody are over. We're political free agents. It's FBA all day. It's certified all the time. And y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the Black Alpha Network on YouTube. I'll see y'all there. Certified salute.